All the people present were tongue-tied when they looked at the change of the dark clouds, as if they saw something frightening. Long Qingxia, Nangong Yi, Zhou Feiyu, Shangguan and Lu Bai are all slightly stunned. Then a few people were cold. The dark cloud in mid-air gradually condensed into a shining unicorn, fierce red eyes and fangs, just like a real unicorn. Roar! Suddenly, the unicorn gave out a roar, which seemed to be accompanied by great power. Although there were people on the scene, their eardrums were shaking, painful and buzzing. Dark clouds? The crowd looked at the unicorn beast transformed from Wu Mingshu again, and the shock in their eyes was like a surging river. How powerful and terrifying it is to be able to transform Wu Ming into a beast. Even thousands of years ago, there are few people who can transform Wu Ming into a beast. What's more, this Wu Ming skill is forbidden by the witches. After the destruction of the witches, it almost disappeared long ago. Now this cloud stark and the 5 elders looked at the unicorn in the air, and a shock flashed through their eyes. But soon, there was a trace of worry in the eyes of the 5 elders. If the unicorn was really angry, they would have to fight. Otherwise, the college will have to be demolished. Kill her for me. Yin Xinger points to Yin Wu. There is a trace of scarlet in his eyes. His eyes are as sharp as a knife. He wants to kill Yin Wu immediately. Unicorn seems to have life in general. After hearing the command, it suddenly comes to Chaoyan dance. The speed was swift and violent, and there was a strong force of darkness on his body. The sense of oppression and suffocation seemed to thin the air. Cloud dance mouth corner a cold. Mao Guang suddenly am I. Hands clasp. Fire dragon. Suddenly, a fire dragon, which was really a flame, took shape in an instant and attacked the unicorn beast. However, fire dragon is just the beginning. Then he saw Yunwu's hands churning up and shouting again. Millennium Rot Tan. A bright and green vine came out of nowhere and surrounded the unicorn. 10,000 swords free. In the void, dense and sharp blue water elements turned into a sharp sword, with the breath of cold crystal, shooting straight at the unicorn. The cloud star on Kylan's back saw this and said, "You have 4 attributes at the same time?" She had just seen Cloud Dance use wind and fire, and didn't feel any difference. The boxes now see her unexpectedly still make an addition to wood and water, 2 kinds of elements. The facial expression is a little pale unexpectedly for a moment. 4 elements in one summoner. It goes without saying that people are very clear about what this means. Cloud Dance corner of the mouth a hook, bloodthirsty look at her a smile. Of course more than. And this. I saw her words fall. She said hands together. In an instant, a flash of thunder surrounded Shutting and Wanjian. Suddenly, the unicorn was convulsed and couldn't break free. And the clouds and stars on it are naturally shaking and twitching with the wind. The cloud dances in the eye to die the ice-cold bloodthirsty. The double lips slightly yawn. Although she didn't know how powerful the Wuming magic was, she now had more and more pure blood of the witches, and had some instinctive feelings about witchcraft. If you want to break the netherworld, it's more than enough to synthesize 5 elements. And she is short of everything except the power of elements. If the 5 elements attack, the solidified unicorn is almost electrified even if it doesn't die, right? Water and wood, but Ray's favorite things, every time we meet can be abnormal fusion. The strength has been increased several times. When people saw the scene, they were surprised and couldn't close their mouths. How is that possible? 5 series summoner? I don't know who said it. Good strong. Ling Feng looks at the unicorn beast that twitches in the air, but can't get rid of it. He is also surprised to say that it's not easy. Although I know Cloud Dance is very powerful. However, he did not expect that she was not only powerful, but also a summoner, a 5-system summoner. With purple talent. How rebellious was her ability. The legendary Wuming skill. Unexpectedly she beat her in a flash? This is the real she. The strongest attitude is against the sky. Unconsciously shaking his head, the admiration in his heart rose from his heart. He knew that she was powerful, but he never thought that she was so rebellious. And these are just the abilities they see. What can't they see? Unintentionally, I can't help but draw out the corner of my mouth. Who is this woman? Cloud Dance looks at the unicorn beast struggling in the air, and her eyes pass by. It's a little surprised, but also fleeting. It hasn't fallen yet. Suddenly, the purple figure soared straight up in the air, and a touch of purple fighting spirit came out from the palm, hitting the unicorn's abdomen. Bang! With a crack, the unicorn's figure has disappeared, leaving only a cloud in the sky after the explosion, and finally disappeared into the vast cloud sky. And then there was a white figure in the sky, fluttering in the wind, but it was disgusted by the burning half of the face. Just when the white figure was about to fall to the ground, Yunwu moved under her feet, swept her figure and caught her steadily. What did she pick her up for? Zhou Feiyu looked at the cloud dance with awe-inspiring eyes. This cloud star son he can write down. If today she doesn't die, in the future he definitely wants her to live not as death. Long Qingxia looks at the cloud dance. His eyes pass a low smile, and the corners of his mouth are slanting upward. He shakes his head helplessly. This little woman. It's getting more and more naughty. Suddenly, when people thought she was merciful enough to catch her, she glanced at Yun Xing'er and threw it away. She rolled Yun Xing'er around and threw it face down. People were stunned. Cloud dance cold glance at the crowd, indifferent way. Hand slip. Then he turned and walked off the stage. Everyone is petrified again. Is it on purpose? Zhou Feiyu's mouth is awe-inspiring. It's really interesting. He is so bloodthirsty and indifferent. Cold he likes it. And the South Palace looks at her this action. The indifferent Mao Sun seems to also die a touch of smile. Shangguan laughs as expected accord with this wench's temperament. Lu Bai's dark and gloomy eyes seem to be covered with a smile. Long Qingxia looks at the cloud dance walking down the stage, and his mouth is slightly crooked. He has long expected that this little thing will not be so kind, and he is as black-hearted as before. When Yunwu stepped down, he glanced at Yunqi intentionally or unintentionally. Yunqi is looking at her with a moving face. He wants to burst into tears and rush into her arms. When Yunwu looked at him, he felt numb, excited and goosebumps all over. Yunwu goes to Long Qingxi and looks back at him. Long Qingxia's mouth was full of smile, and his eyes were full of doting. Yes, I didn't lose face for my husband. In the future, I won't let you lose face for my husband anymore. Cloud dance slightly pick eyebrow. Don't understand away. You mean you want? It's time. Long Qingxia nodded to her, and the corners of his eyes were too dark. Then play a good prestige, and take back the lost face together with other people's face. Yunwu's eyes are shining. It seems that there will be a play in the next competition. Yun Xing'er stood up on the stage tremblingly, and turned to leave. His figure was lonely and sad, but with a trace of unspeakable gloom. She tried her best to resist the pain brought by Shuemu thunder, but she still couldn't fight each other. Finally, she was shocked by thunder and her whole body was swollen. But she deliberately threw it, touched the wound on her face, and the hot pain and friction made her wake up gradually. This moment of humiliation. She will be 1,000 times 100 times back. And her gloomy eyes are clearly seen by Yunwu. She looks back at Xianjiangqi, who is also looking at her helplessly. The cloud dances the Mao light to pass a touch of meditation. Today, if let her go like this, will she regret in the future? However, no matter whether she will or not, she never likes to let her cancer grow up. See cloud dance mouth corner a sip, looking at cloud star sun's back, eyes deep. She never do let oneself may regret. Suddenly, her palm sent out two green edges, like two snakes hitting the pipa bones on both sides of Yunxing'er. Ah! The sound of tearing heart and bone resounded again. Everyone's eyes were attracted by the two tiny holes behind Yunxing'er. Then there was shock and consternation and more was panic. This cloud star sun completely kneels on the ground, can't get up again. With a sigh, Yunqi gets up and walks to Yunxing. 9 wenches, I will take this big wench back to the dormitory first. With that, Yunqi picked up the cloud star on the ground and left. Cloud Dance looked at them one eye, then drew back the vision. Say she's ruthless or cruel. If she doesn't waste her muscles today, the future will be a painful day for her. Now she has too much concern, and can't stand the threat of anyone. It's her bottom line to save her life. If she is satisfied, she should know that everything will be the same except that she can't do martial arts. Everyone watched Yunqi holding Yunxing'er away, and was shocked by her indifference. Even the 5 elders were slightly stunned. but they could understand why Yunwu did so. I declare that there are 10 people to be promoted. Yunwu Longqingdi, Nanganji Zifiyu, Shengguan Lubai, Shuangzi, Yeo Xianshan as the saying goes. The second game, the final, starts tomorrow. Let's go back. The elder seemed to be afraid of something unexpected. He read it out and announced the end of the game. The first game of a friendship competition, which almost cost life, ended like this. The night sky is quiet. Yunwu stayed in the dormitory, but was not affected by the day, but was thinking about something. Why is Shuangzi so similar to Lu Bai? Are like ice, but Frostze is taken out of the heart, but also left a pair of ice eyes. In addition to the dark breath, Lu Bai has no ice breath. Is he really cured? Or is he lying? If he's lying, the person's real identity is in danger. Just at this moment, outside the quiet dormitory, there was a sound of walking back and forth twice, as if thinking about how to speak. The cloud dances the Mal-light to pass a silk helpless. What matter can't knock on the door? Be a door god outside? Suddenly, she got up and walked towards the door. When she opened the door, she found Yunqi outside. Grandfather? 9 wenches, follow your grandfather. Yunqi looks at Yunwu with a loving smile. Under the cold starlight, the smile is so warm. Cloud Dance slightly droops eyes, then nods. On the spacious college square, there are still traces of fighting at noon. 9 wenches, I know your elder sisters are sorry for you, but can you? It seems that Yunqi is hard to open his mouth. Under the star, his eyes are helpless. All his life, he went straight to the battlefield. But for those granddaughters, he repeatedly disobeyed himself and lowered his head to beg her, which made Yunwu feel a little uncomfortable. The cloud dances the Mal-light is clear and cold, just like the star on general at this time. This matter passed, as long as later she honestly does her cloud mansion big young lady. Really? Cloud Chia listen. That pair of sharp eyes inside emerge a glimmer of joy. Cloud Dance micro frowns and nods cold way. The premise is later she can have a little consciousness. Don't send any killer or force to kill me. Otherwise I will take her life. As for the story of the third lady, she doesn't intend to let Yunqi know. After all, it's the witch people. Who knows if it's the queen's pawn? Let's not scare the snake. Let's see what's going on. Of course, if she dares to do it again, I'll break her leg first. Yunqi eyebrows a horizontal. Those granddaughters in his eyes are not as good as Yunwu one. Who dares to hurt Yunwu he cannot recognize. It's just that they are all granddaughters of his family. He can't bear them killing each other. By the way, grandfather, that in Lu Jiangying, an official of the same dynasty, General Lu, do you know where his son is now? Cloud Dance raises eyes to coagulate Cloud Chi. Think of Lu Bai and Frostze of similar, really some doubts. I always feel that there is something hidden in it. Hearing the words, Yunqi was stunned. Lu Jiang wins. I do have an impression in my memory. I can even say that I am quite familiar with it. Because he is now an official in the same dynasty with Yunlingyi. At the beginning, he was an official in the same dynasty with Lu Jiangying. It's a matter of the old man's son. No one in the imperial city knows. It's said that his son has been missing for a long time. At that time, the people in Liufu searched frantically for a long time, but they didn't find him. However, just last month, his son suddenly came back. Cloud Chi looks at Cloud Dance. The Mao has a silk don't understand. 9 wenches, you ask this why? Cloud Dance slightly shakes his head. The Mal-light passes a touch of chill. Nothing, just care about the old general. The Cloud Old Sun smell speech facial expression suddenly a black, low way. That Lu Old Sun when in you so familiar? I have to go back and question him. With that, Yunqi turns around and walks away. With her unique strength, how can her granddaughter care about others? Cloud Dance looks at the figure that Master Yun leaves. The corners of his mouth pull slightly, then slightly droops his eyes, turns around and disappears in the night. Under the night, a purple figure walking alone, but has been thinking of drooping eyes, looking down at the underground flow stone. Came back a month ago? Yunwu thought about what Yunqi had just said, and could not help frowning slightly. What a coincidence. The disappeared people suddenly went back a month ago. And the time was not too early or too slow. which was exactly the time of the last selection competition of foreign colleges. Lu, by the suspicions and coldness in the cloud dancing eyes, suddenly died a few points. After the first day's competition, Cloud Dance has become the most influential person in the college, and the students discuss it separately. And Cloud Dance, in order to be quiet, did not go to class. At this point, it is estimated that the students who go to class are restless, right? Yunwoo comes to the flower garden in the college and meets Nangong-yi. They sit down and chat. Between them, perhaps there is a kind of unspeakable, inexplicable sense of calm. Nangong-yi's calmness and quietness seem to wash the bloody smell of her body, just like the baptism of her soul. It's strange. However, Cloud Dance is not disgusted. Who do you want to fight? Nangong-imo is like pure water, looking at her calmly. Against whom? In fact, she doesn't want to fight, but if she wants to improve herself, actual combat is the most basic step. What's more, she won the first place in this competition. Let position. Cloud danced the corner of the mouth slightly a hook. Mao Guang pondered for a moment. I who all want to fight. This can advance to the top 10. Are masters of the master. Can and master against. Should be a little interesting. Nangong-yi smelled the words, and a gentle smile passed in his eyes. What if you can only choose one? Cloud Dance thought for a while. Pour also return away. That chooses Frost Zay. There was a gleam in the corner of her eyes, sharp and domineering. She has always been interested in that Frost. His strength can't be underestimated. Nangong-yi heard Frost say, calm eyes with a trace of waves. The opponent needs to be strong, otherwise it's boring? Don't you think so? What's more, he has challenged me. It seems impolite not to answer the challenge. Cloud Dance turns head to see an eye South Temple E. The eye ground passes a silk undercurrent. Although she doesn't care about the too occasional appearance of Shuangzi, it doesn't mean that she can completely ignore. She still cares about the people who challenge her. What's more, she does have some interests. Nangong-yi slightly lowered his head, calm eyes like a helpless smile. This is also right. Nangong-yi understands that he has decided to settle the matter with the nature of Cloud Dance, and will never change. At least, he knew that he didn't have the ability to influence her decision. However, if only I could sit quietly with her all the time and talk to her. The breeze, with the fragrance of the flower garden, swept across the tip of my nose, and a burst of freshness came. The second day's final came soon. It is still a top priority in the college. All the students in the college come to watch this wonderful scene. The second promotion contest, the final now. I'll read out the rules. An elder, holding a bright red book in his hand, began to turn it up. All of a sudden, there was a burst of laughter from the students. Is this a wedding card? It's still this book after all these years? The cloud dances to smell speech. The corners of the mouth outline a smile. 10 people form a team at will. The first 2 are eliminated. The remaining 8 are promoted. The remaining 8 start fighting. The first 2 are eliminated. All the other 6 enter the Three Kingdoms competition, but they still have to continue fighting and choose the last one. The elder finished reading, put away the book, returned to the seat, took a deep breath, and called out. The game begins. Cloud Dancer listen. Mao Guangyi Shan suspiciously glanced at an elder's seat. These old guys are in the picture to save trouble? There's a fight in the final? It's a big deal to watch. But she likes fighting. She can be lazy and let them fight as much as they want. She's fighting. She's fighting. The last move is to defend the enemy and finish it. Do you want to fight for your husband? If you reward my husband a few dates, my husband can give up on his own initiative. Dragon Qing evil looking at the side of the cloud dance, toward her pick eyebrows, signal her to consider. Yunwoo's face turned black, and he glanced at him. His eyes flashed a frost. Just when she was about to speak, a cold voice interrupted her. I choose cloud dance. Not far away a cold figure stood up. Not Frost Zehu? This makes the students who are speculating on the spot a little stunned. They didn't expect that someone would challenge Yunwoo directly. When they saw that the man was Shuangzi, their surprise changed into cheers. Shuangzi is the inner disciple of the elder. His martial arts skills are among the best in the college. Now the competition is more interesting. The elder nodded slightly. Although he had the result in his heart, he still hoped to temper Frostze's patience. Cloud Dance lifted mouth to glance at Frostze one eye, the corner of the mouth indifferent sneer, got up to walk up one challenge arena. Please give me more advice. Frostze just nodded, not too much expression. 2 people to hold. A touch of invisible pressure suddenly hit. These 2 people are full of indifference and coldness, but the coldness of Shuangzi is quite different from that of Yunwu. Frostze is completely like ice, without a trace of heat of the body in general. But the cloud dances in the frost to show bloodthirsty and chilly. It seems that people are more creepy. The next confrontation is Shangguan versus Liu Bai, Zhou Feiyu versus Xianshan, Longqingxi versus Mingtian, Ningganji versus Yao. Under the challenge arena, the excited cheers are endless. Frostze seems not to be affected, just staring at the clouds. Cold eyes cannot say what is complex. Suddenly, a white light flashed up. See, Frostze's a pair of fists have condensed into a piece of ice, exuding the breath of ice. It seems that the air is condensed into ice. Instant Cloud Dance hit. Cloud Dance looked at the attack of Ice Fist, stepped back, white palm burning fire. She fiercely clenched fist. Fire Fist suddenly appeared, burning half of the sky, against the frost of Ice Fist. The impact is like the mountain torrent burst out uncontrollable, ice and fire confrontation. Instantly the whole challenge arena presents the difference between the 2 states. One side of the red-hot burning skin, people cannot look directly at. On the other side, the crystal-clear ice is like a hell ice cave, which makes people shiver. The students in the challenge arena will turn left and right, or they will be burned or frozen to death. Zizi. The confrontation between ice and fire makes a sound of mutual exclusion, melting and swallowing. The sky is full of ice and fire, while the clouds are surrounded by flames, and the frost is surrounded by ice. Bang! With an explosion, the 2 lights suddenly disappeared. In the hazy fog, the 2 figures instantly retreated at the same time, and both stopped at the edge of the challenge arena and stood firm. Cloud Dance half squints the mouth sun. The corner of the mouth is raising bloodthirsty smile. A pair of black mouth has already become purple at the moment. Is this the result of the collision between ice and fire? Cloud Dance slightly raised her eyes and looked in the air, reflecting 2 polar states, the burned cloud and the frozen cloud. A smile of irony scattered in the corner of her mouth. At the moment, several groups of people in the other arena, seeing the shining scene, seemed to have negotiated a general truce. They were all slightly stunned to watch them fight. Some squatted on the ground, some languidly leaned on the challenge column, some resolutely stood, some simply lay on the ground. They all looked like watching a play, completely forgetting that they also wanted to compete. All of a sudden, all the focus of the whole stadium are gathered in Yunwu and Shuangzi, and the few people in the game have also become the audience. It looks funny on the whole. Several elders were also shocked. Was their strength really cultivated by the Samurai Academy? Cloud Dance looks at Frostze. I ground passes a touch of undercurrent. In the battle just now, she used 6 parts of her strength. She also felt that Shuangzi didn't exert all her strength. Her 6 parts of her strength flame was light and easy to break, and died together. His purple talent, the 9th level warrior, should not be so rebellious. What's going on? Is it because he has been dealing with ice since he was young, so his use of ice has exceeded his own cultivation? And the burning of her flame decreased a lot, because he was ice? It seems that ice is the natural enemy of fire. Frostze looked at her, cold lips a word way. I will defeat you. Suddenly, Frost leaped up in the air. An ice sword had been held in his hand, cut through the air layer, with the wind blowing, condensing the ice color light, dancing towards the clouds. The cloud dances purple pupilla mi. The moment volleys in the sky. The black flame big knife in the hand takes the strong strength, horizontal split past. Bang. It collided with the ice sword and made a roaring sound. All of a sudden, a flash of light scattered. The ice sword in Frostze's hand has been smashed. Yunwu's hand holding the black flame sword has been trembling slightly, and it's hard to be noticed. Cloud Dance's tiny narrow eyes. This Frostze to ice has already come to the point of combining with oneself. Absolutely has already exceeded the strength that the 9-rank warrior should have. everyone in the square, staring at them. Suddenly, Frosty eyes swept a flame of anger. This is the first time that everyone saw him have such a different expression. At that moment, frost on the body rose ice color lift fog, the whole body began to ice. The crowd looked at his action and widened their eyes, which was obviously unbelievable. Is he going to use that? Did he want to kill her? A touch of disbelief came into the ears of Yunwu and other people in the challenge arena. That's what he used 3 years ago. He killed the samurai in a flash. Mingtian lies on the ground, turning a grass in his hand, and says with his legs crossed. After seeing that Shuangzi killed the great martial arts class student 3 years ago, no one dared to challenge him anymore. Just in the blink of an eye, the man's heart was punctured and he died in a pool of blood. Many people see him as a monster and a devil. Dragon Qing evil smell speech, mouth a yang, eyes evil calm. Zhou Feiyu and other people don't seem to be worried. On the contrary, Mingtian has a worried look at Yunwu. But he didn't know that the real devil was her. Cloud Dance looks at the change on Frostze's body. The eye bottom passes a silk surprised. He unexpectedly turns his body into ice. Under the sun, his body is shining like a statue. Suddenly, Shuangzi's frozen eyes moved for a moment. In an instant, more than a dozen ice swords shot at the Cloud Dance, followed by the disorder of scattered ice dance. This is Frostze's strongest ability. He can turn his body into ice. Through his own plan, ice can make any weapon and ability. Each weapon ability is the ability of his own class, the 9th level warrior. When Yunwu's broadsword was waved, he saw a dozen ice swords cut off. Sword in the air and rotated for a circle. Then he waved the broadsword again and stabbed Shuangzi. Just 1 second before stabbing Shuangzi's chest, the broadsword suddenly changed into a water sword. The water sword pierced into his frozen body and was instantly frozen. The Cloud Dance looks at this shape, the bloodthirsty purple pupil slightly narrows, raises the eye to glance at Frostze. The corner of the mouth actually slightly rises. My water element bumps into your ice. Do not know what kind of spectacle we'll have. Frozen eyes, suddenly a zheng. Just when he wanted to remove the ice body, suddenly a dark, huge water waves whirlpool. Toward his blanket, that kind of suffocating feeling let him dark. I'll give you a hand. The cloud dances coldly and roars, and the water element waves instantly churn and roll, directly winding the frost. In an instant, the water element is frozen, and besides the ice formed by itself, the water element of cloud dance outside is frozen on the body, and the action is a little stiff. Ice like this is useless. Frostze roared. In the moment of lifting the ice body, a strong spiritual power came out, and instantly cracked the water element. Unexpectedly even broke through the water element. Under the challenge arena, one of them looks at Shuangzi and stares in surprise. The cloud dances the corner of the mouth a yang. The Mao light skips a pure light. Try this. Without waiting for Frost's reaction, Yunwu waved his hands, and the water element suddenly hit him again. Did I say that? He was about to say that the water element was useless to him. But when he found the flame behind the water element, he was slightly stunned. All of a sudden, the water element forms a whirlpool and invades the body of Shuangzi. Shuangzi's ice eyes are as cold as a blade. If you use ice, you can condense water in an instant and completely destroy it in the next second, but you can't escape the flame behind. Frostze looked at the fire like magma, not to mention ice. Even the iron can melt. The cloud dances the corner of the mouth to hook to put on a smile. In the flame attack Frostze body of that moment, she suddenly flies over in the air. The sword in hand reappeared, and the fierce and Zizi sword roared. It split into the air and broke the air. With the last blow of the black flame sword, the wind fire element disappeared. Frostze, mouth brimming with blood, fell down. People look at the figure of Frostze fall down. A strange silence filled with. A quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters, this is the best cooperation. It belongs to the summoner alone. A sound of shock first broke the silence. I saw that the sound came into the ears of all the people on the scene, and suddenly caused a deep breath. Is this the ability of the summoner? She was able to defeat Shuangzi. She really deserves to be the summoner in the legend. How strong she is. And just at this time, Another voice sounded like amazement. She's much younger than me, so she's against the weather. If in the future. Gradually there was a voice in the crowd. It's just that when you think about it, you won't be able to say any more about the astonishing gesture of Miss Nine in front of you. There is a smile in Long Qingxia's eyes. The strength of this little thing is still hidden. It seems that the inner college can't accommodate her. Perhaps, before that opportunity really comes, it's time to go out for a walk. Oh, it's wonderful. I hope Xiao Wu can continue to be strong enough to kill heaven one day. Shengguan said out of tune. Everyone thought his words were a joke, but in his eyes, he was never serious and expected. Ming Tian sat on the ground and looked at the cloud dance, showing a smile that he didn't know what to do. Then he looked up at the dragon with a black veil and said, "What's your strength? If I'm like her, I'll just give up." "You're really promising." Shengguan glanced at the sky scornfully. Zhou Feiyu glanced at the dragon and said with deep meaning, "The son of the dragon of the Zhou dynasty is the waste of the human population." "What? Waste?" The dark sky rubbed to sit up on the ground. He turned around the dragon with an unbelievable face and doubted. "Can waste enter the top 10? Are you rubbish?" He glanced at the people under the challenge arena. His eyes were surprised and asked seriously. The people in the challenge arena turned black, but there was nothing to refute. Because they were really defeated by a loser. Hearing this, the 5 elders also felt that they could not keep their face. The rest of the groups hurried to compete. 2 elder a cold drink. The facial expression is some ugliness. He is the elite of the King of God Warrior Academy. He was beaten by a waste. Although this waste is also from his academy, it's really not very good to hear. On the number 1 challenge arena, the contest is over, and the focus of most people is attracted by Dragon's evil spirit. Frostzay reluctantly stood up, brushed his hand to wipe the blood on the corner of his mouth, eyes looking at the clouds, unspeakable complexity, and then he slightly drooped his eyes. "Thank you." If she had not defeated him with a big knife in time, and removed the elements of wind and fire, it would not have been impossible for him to melt completely under her fire magma. Cloud Dance Mouth Hook turned off the challenge. "Are you really a waste?" The dark sky doesn't give up to stare at the dragon to pour evil. He was so close to him, but he didn't feel that he had no martial arts. There are only 2 possibilities. The first is that he is really a waste, and the second is that his strength is above him. However, he thinks that the second possibility is relatively large. It's said that a waste wants to get the first place in such a rampant scuffle, but it's almost impossible. The students in the inner college are not waste. Is it rubbish? I'll know if I try? Cloud Dance all the way to hear the question of the sky. Can't help mouth slightly young up. Ming Tian glanced at Yunwu, raised his chin slightly, then looked contemptuously at the dragon and said, "Just try." Then he looked at Yunwu again. His face collapsed immediately, and he said, "I'm afraid of losing face. I'm beaten badly. I might as well admit defeat. At least I can't hurt my face. And I'm not sure about my posture." When Yunwu heard him, he chuckled, then looked at him and said, "Congratulations, the prophecy has come true." I saw the dark sky's face brush down. Several other people were not surprised to hear Yunwu say that. They had already guessed that Long Qingxi couldn't be a waste. This sentence just confirmed their idea. Long Qingxia came to Yunwu and said in her ear, "Now it's time to play for my husband. Go and get your face back." Cloud Dance Mouth Yang, looking back at him, a smile. "The face this thing I don't want, but prestige this thing, must have." Dragon Qing evil black eyes pan out a smile, magnetic Lo Wei. "Yes." Cloud Dance glanced at him and said with disdain, "You said that you have your own way to enter the 3 kingdoms competition. The way is to show your strength?" Dragon Qing evil slightly pick eyebrows, mouth with a smile. "This is not a good way?" Cloud Dance. "The way is to hide your strength." "There is no need to hide your strength." Dragon Qing evil mouth Yang. Then calmly turned to the challenge arena. After watching the excitement, several people started their own competition. Yunwu watched the dragon pour evil spirits, and from time to time looked at several other people in the challenge arena, sitting lazily. When she saw the dark sky completely open to the war, her eyes flashed a little surprised. Purple talent, middle martial arts, wind, wood and water? This person seems to be a bit loose and unorthodox, just like Shangguan, but the more he is, the more difficult he is to deal with, but now it's on the ring. The dark sky is suddenly pushed back by a strange breath of dragon's evil, and there is a look of astonishment at the bottom of the dark sky's eyes. What a strong breath. Is he really stronger than him? However, the dark sky suddenly raises that to wipe loose smile and stares at the mouth of the dragon to pour evil to say, "This strength can match that woman." As soon as his voice fell, he saw the gray figure in the dark sky, and the dragon fell away. A blue water belt hung on the gray figure. Suddenly, the speed and attack power of the wind attribute and the attack power of the water attribute completely wrapped the dragon's evil figure. When everyone was surprised that the waste had the ability to fight against the dark sky, they could not help shaking their heads when they saw this scene. But in the next second, everyone's shaking his head has not stopped. All of them seemed to be stunned at that moment. In addition to the groups still competing, the whole challenge arena was silent. In the helpless eyes, they were shocked or shocked. What's going on? That trash. He's not, isn't he trapped in it? How did you get out? If this is a real person, what is that? Do you have a separate body? It's the shadow. That's right, it's Caning. The ability of Dragon Shitsi is not under the sky. Everyone was shocked again. What's going on? Well, isn't it waste and waste? How could Ming Tian is hit by a purple fighting spirit of dragon's evil spirit behind him? The pain from his spine makes him fall on the ground for a moment, and can't stand up, but his eyes are still smiling. Purple talent? I can't see your rank. Ming Tian reluctantly stood up. His forehead exuded a little sweat, and his face was slightly pale. The dragon tilts her eyes and smiles. It seems to be very modest, but she glances at the clouds. The eyes of the evil spirit send her an autumn wave. Yunwu's helpless white eyes. Ming Tian hasn't done his best. What's this guy proud of? When Yunwu looks back at the other arenas, except for Zhou Feiyu, the other three groups are over. Yunwu's mouth twitches. It's just the beginning. Not for a while. Xianshan has been intentionally or unintentionally glancing at Yunwu. Seeing that Yunwu puts his eyes on the third challenge arena where he is, the corner of his mouth raises, arouses a touch of charm, and speeds up the attack. Zhou Feiyu's mouth was awe-inspiring, and one hand became a fist, full of dense steam. Just as Xianshan attacked him, his figure trembled and waved with all his strength. Bang! With the shaking of the challenge arena, a personal gravure appears in the center of the challenge arena. Xuanshan's charming face was hit by that blow and lost his chin. At the moment, it was swollen, and the corners of his mouth were overflowing with blood. Suddenly, his face was black and blue, and he was a little ferocious. Next time I see something I shouldn't, I'll take your eyes off and feed them to the dog. With an awe-inspiring warning, standing beside Xianshan and looking down like a king, Xianshan was so angry that he couldn't say a word. Cloud Dance's mouth shows a smile of sarcasm, takes back his eyes looking at Xianshan, and turns to the second challenge arena, which is in full swing. Cloud Dance looks at Dragon Qingxia's effortless defense, and occasionally catches the opportunity to strike. That strike is extremely easy, but the pain of Ming Tian is extremely unbearable. The strength of this Dragon 3 is so strong. It was hidden deep enough before. Ling Feng looks at Long Qingxia to deal with Ming Tian at the level of great martial arts master. It's obviously more than enough. There is a complex look in his eyes. In the past, waste is a perfect match, but both of them are hiding. Now they think it's a perfect match. They are both equally strong and shocking. Xiaozhu shook his head, a pity on his face. Inadvertently looking at Long Qingxia, his eyes are a little fuzzy, thinking his strength and Cloud Dance should be equal, right? That is his strength above him. He suddenly dropped his eyes. The corner of his mouth swept a helpless smile. The corners of Ming Tian's mouth were pale. Suddenly, the water rose into the sky and disappeared into the clouds. Suddenly, he took out a long golden sword as sharp and rugged as lightning. The golden light of the sword body flashed as if it were lightning. Then he shook his figure and attacked the dragon strangely. Dragon Qing Evil Mouth Yang. Black eyes pan out a touch of bloodthirsty light. Looking at the strange attack of the sword, white palm in midair a slip. People watched the lightning, the golden sword straight toward him. He still stood calmly, not much flash. Is he going to die? A man's eyes suddenly startled as he looked at the sword shining golden and cold in front of his chest. However, a chilling scene happened. The sharp roar of the sword attacked the dragon, but stopped half a meter away from his chest. The dark sky is loose of Mao Sun surprised suddenly a lift, see to the opposite of that white figure, but only sweep to a moment remnant shadow. His face suddenly changed. He the next second, his eyes a dark, an evil ugly face reflected in front of him, only to see the man's mouth with a bloody smile. Ming Tian's eyes are wide open, and his eyes pass by. He looks at him incredulously, but the next second, the body slowly fell to the ground. Although some people are talking about what Long Qingxia has done, it makes Ming Tian lose without any fighting power. Only a dozen people saw his shot. Zhou Feiyu looks at the dragon, and his sharp eyes are unpredictable. Suddenly he pulled his mouth slightly, his eyes became sharp, hiding his strength and deliberately showing his strength. What is all this for? He is full of interest and expectation for the purpose behind him. Looking at this scene, the 5 elders were no less surprised than the students in the challenge arena. The one who just separated the sword from his body was the boundary of space. How can ordinary people use this space? The 5 elders once again put their eyes on the body, and the corners of their mouths were twitching. The strength of these 2 people. The old man who has been cultivating all his life is a little embarrassed. What a bad day, isn't it? Long Qingxia calmly flicked the dust on the white clothes, slightly raised the corners of his mouth, and walked down the stage under the gaze of the people. And the pale Ming Tian behind him also sat up at the moment, raised his eyes and looked at the back of Dragon Qingxia, and said lazily, I really lost. This time, I lost face. I said you could win me, so I would give up. Dragon Qing Evil Head also didn't return, straight to Cloud Dance side, evil spirit of toward her wink way. For husband performance good? Not good. Cloud Dance Xiao eyebrow a horizontal, indifferent Mao Sun glanced at him one eye. Dragon Qing Evil mouth a pull. To have demeanor, plus natural and unrestrained domineering. Did not see those worship eyes? He glanced at all the people and looked like I was very powerful. I was very smart and powerful. It's too slow to solve. It should be over with one blow. Yunwu shakes her head in disappointment, but a smile appears in her eyes. The dark sky on the challenge arena hears the speech. The corner of her mouth twitches fiercely, and looks at the Cloud Dance's eyes. This face has fallen to the ground, and the girl has to step on it. Black-hearted. When the 5 elders heard Yunwu's words, they looked at each other in surprise and pretended to have 2 dry coughs. I declare that the 6 people who represent Shenwang Samurai Academy to participate in the 3 Kingdoms competition are Yunwu, Longqingxi, Nanganji, Zhou Feiyu, Shengguan and Liu Bai. The 3 elders stood upright, hoping to get the attention of the students. But it turns out everyone's thoughts and eyes are still occupied by Yunwu and Longqingxi. The 6 people who have been promoted to the 3 Kingdoms competition will fight with each other. They will be divided into the front and back places. The first one, as the team leader, will take other people to participate in the 3 Kingdoms competition. The voice of the old tower, like a magic sound, suddenly suppressed everyone's voice and kept reverberating. There was a trace of vibration in his breath. The voice was like a sound wave, which was a buzz in his ears. Except for the students above the 9th level, all the others covered their ears, with a look of pain on their faces and a buzzing sound in their minds. All of a sudden, except for the birds and animals, the whole square was quiet. Even the sound of breathing can be heard clearly. Alas! The 3 elders glanced at the students, sighed helplessly, and touched the white beard. I'm so kind to tell you that no one listens. We have to let the elder use force to solve the problem. We all have to clean up one by one. They were speechless. They did not forget how the kind 3 elders had taught them Yunwu, Longqingxi and other 6 people. Hearing the elders' words, glanced at each other unhappily, as if they were declaring war. The first one on stage is Yunwu. She takes a cool step. She is in purple and arrogant. Her eyes are firm. She is the leader of the team. Who stands in the way, who steps down, and the other 5 people all looked at each other. Their eyes were shining, they didn't speak, they didn't move. They seemed to be in divine intercourse. Cloud Dance looks at them, and suddenly a touch of disgust passes through the bottom of his heart. When will the 5 people who were not familiar with each other, and could not tolerate each other? When 5 men had sex with each other. She couldn't help oozing a mouthful of sour water. After a while, there was no movement. Cloud Dance willow eyebrow a low, Maoguang a cool, eyebrows emerge a touch intolerable, cold mouth way. Give me quick. 5 big men look at each other, take back the eyes of Xinjiao, and walk onto the stage with a mysterious smile on their lips. Yunwu was confused by their smile, and a little bit of meditation passed by her eyes. Suddenly she thought, wouldn't it be a joint effort to get her down? Suddenly, the black line on her forehead came up, and the corners of her mouth were not easy to detect. One-on-one or fighting? Yunwu first looks at Nanganji, who is standing first. Xingmo is burning the fire of battle. I abstain. Nanganji calmly looks at the Cloud Dance, and the gentle and cool voice does not contain a trace of ups and downs. What? Cloud Dance slightly frowns. The eye light passes a doubt. Abstain? Did she hear that right? Then the crowd, who watched the excitement and looked forward to it, burst into an uproar. The Cloud Dance suspiciously glanced at him one eye, walked to the superior officer in front, looked at him one eye and said, How about you? One-on-one or fighting? I didn't sleep well last night. Abstain. Shangguan said with a yawn, a pair of sleepy appearance. All of a sudden the performance of incisively and vividly. Cloud Dance face a dark, forehead suddenly wipe out 3 black lines. Seemed to understand what. She went to the dragon in front of the evil, a pair of star eyes cold looking at him. The corner of her mouth with a very cold and gorgeous smile, biting teeth a word way. You won't also abstain? She looks like that. If Long Qingxia answers yes, she will tear him to pieces. Dragon Qing evil spirit a smile, the corner of the mouth Yang is putting on a clear way. Madam knows my heart. Cloud Dance, a touch of frost appears at the bottom of my eyes, and the smile at the corner of my mouth is chilling. Hearing this, the 5 elders' faces suddenly changed. For so many years, the position of leader of the 3 kingdoms competition was not won with blood. Now look at this situation, everyone abstained. This girl just picked up a captain for nothing. How can she look more terrible than not getting the captain's expression? And the 2 of you. Cloud Dance is glaring at Zhou Feiyu and Lu Bai, cold way. Abstain. I abstain. One is awe-inspiring and domineering, the other is dark and fierce. The voice of the difference between heaven and earth is the same answer. For a moment, the air seemed to condense, and the cold eyes of the clouds swept the 5 of them. The chill on their bodies was enough to frighten the whole inner college, and the people in the challenge arena did not dare to talk in surprise. They seemed to feel that the 9th lady seems to be angry. It's just, why, wouldn't it be better for others to abstain? However, where do they know that Cloud Dance is the psychological preparation for training? Moreover, in this strange world where martial arts are the most important, everything is based on fists. Only after everyone loses, can they be willing to obey her command. In this way, it will be easy to do later things. But now Cloud Dance looked back at the 5 elders, slightly raised eyebrows and said coldly, Elder, is this illegal? As soon as the 5 elders heard it, they looked down at each other. This abstention is not a violation of the rules of the game, but when it comes to the chilly and icy eyes of Yunwu, I don't know how to answer it. Shangguan looks at the eyes of the 5 elders who are about to kill by Yunwu, forcing them to have a hard choice. Looking back at Yunwu, he says, Is this a threat? Cloud Dance glances at him. Do you have one? Shangguan touched her indifferent eyes, immediately shook his head and shrugged his shoulders, and said with a flattering smile, Of course not. But in his heart, he was thinking, who dares to retort when you look at people like that? It's not a threat. What is it? Suddenly, Long Qingxia came to her side, mouth slightly young, low voice. Little thing. You are so stubborn. Language just fell. While she did not respond to come over, will her arms, his fingers on her lips. You. Cloud Dance stares at Long Qingxia angrily. Before he says anything, a smell of blood rushes into his mouth. The next second, when his consciousness is dark, he feels faint in his arms. Isn't his blood useless to her? How could, however, Yunwu didn't know that the body of Dragon Qingxia was evil. In many cases, it was as simple as she thought. Everyone looked at the scene and opened their mouths in surprise. A terrible idea flashed through their mind. A finger put down the summoner? What's going on? Is that Long Shitzi more powerful than Miss Nine? Is he really the legendary son of the dragon? Dragon Qingxia holds Cloud Dance. Eyes gently dote on drowning, ignoring the surprise of everyone's eyes. A shadow passes by and disappears in the challenge arena. The other four looked at the shadow in front of them, and the constant color in their eyes was a little dark. We all abstained and agreed to her as captain. Far away, a sound of arrogance and evil came into the ears of the 5 elders. The third leader quickly gathered up his abnormal look and said in 2 clear coughs, "Cloud Dance will be the captain of the 6 people in the 3 Kingdoms competition. When other people go to participate in the 3 Kingdoms competition, they will follow the captain's instructions, and the promotion competition will be over." When people heard that the game was over, they were a little disappointed. The most wonderful competition ended before it started. Today's promotion competition shocked everyone. I've never seen such a fierce competition. The elder looked at the scattered crowd and sighed. Originally, the battle of choosing the captain was more exciting. It was all a competition of ability and strength. But unexpectedly, the 5 of them all gave up after negotiation, and the girl became the captain smoothly. Suddenly, the elder had a bad feeling. This girl has become a team leader, but she's not going to turn it upside down? Do you have a peaceful life? The elder can't help sighing again. Those people are surprisingly good to the girl. I don't know whether they are good or bad for the girl. I hope that in the future they will not meet with each other because of this. Every year, after the students participate in the promotion competition, the students who finally enter the 3 Kingdoms competition will go out of the college for training. A few of them are no exception. The 5 elders told them to set out as soon as possible and go out for training. The 3 elders took out a whistle and gave it to Nanganji. Yu said, "No matter whether you use it or not, don't lose it. Otherwise, anyone can come into this college." Nangang nods indifferently, and an imperceptible smile appears in the corner of his mouth. It seems that they have long discovered that Yunwu sneaked out of the college on the cliff. The night is charming, and the noisy and exciting day is gone. Your Highness, we have lost a lot of time. Wu Han bowed his head respectfully and looked at Zhou Feiyu, who was noble and arrogant. Zhou Feiyu glanced at him and said with a hint of warning, "I don't want to say it again for the 4th time. Do your own thing well." 5 Cold One Lung still want to say what? Touched Zhou Feiyu's cruel warning, finally still didn't say. For the sake of this 5 Phoenix girl, His Highness is leaning on the matter of delaying the imperial city to seize power. He has suffered a lot since childhood. He sees it in his eyes. Isn't it just for the sake of seizing power? Now for a woman. 5 Cold slightly helpless Mao Guang once flit by, then disappeared in Zhou Feiyu's room. In the room, the candlelight was dim, but Zhou Feiyu's dignified, domineering and cold breath remained unchanged. He looked at the faint candlelight and narrowed his sharp eyes, revealing endless darkness. Seizing power is imperative, and she is bound to win. Under the moon sky, a white and a purple figure appears, and the woman falls in her arms by the man's domineering, forming a look like a little bird depending on others, Lang Qing Qi. Under the stars. Finally, the woman seemed to move in his arms, and the man raised a smile. Suddenly, Cloud Dance eyes a cold, clenched fist, instantly toward his face. Dragon Qingxia grabs her hand effortlessly and says, "Don't hit face, it's not perfect." Cloud Dance. Your blood. Only once in a while, once in a while. Dragon Qing evil spirit smile of stare at her to say. Occasionally, Yunwu is stupid to believe him at this time. However, Cloud Dance at this time but slightly narrowed his eyes and asked him, "Is the game over?" "Well, the second before you go into a coma is over. Everyone abstains. You're the boss." Dragon Qing evil enchantment smile, toward her grin. "This thing for husband do good?" Cloud Dance cold hum of smile, "Is not bad. Why did she suddenly want to beat him? Cloud Dance sullen put away fist, sat up from his arms, eyes cold white he one eye. Thinking of what happened in today's challenge arena, she fell into a coma in his arms, and the black line on her forehead began to appear. However, Cloud Dance has just begun. Suddenly, Cloud Dance felt a cold breath, eyes slightly ami. Seems to have known who is coming. Under the moonlight, the cold figure stood not far away, and the ice eyes looked at them for a moment. Yunwu stands up, stares at him and walks towards him. When do you leave? Frostzay looking at Cloud Dance. Ice Mao don't know why put on a complex. I'll leave tomorrow. What's up? Yunwu saw the emotion in his eyes and knew that if there was nothing wrong, he would not come to her. Frostzay heard nodded, pondered for a long time before opening. Can you help me pay attention to the people who can ice the human body? If you can, thank you. Cloud Dance hears him say this, suddenly remembered Lu Bai. I ground suddenly a cold, lift Mao Wei. Who is your father? Why do you ask this? Frostzay tiny a zheng, ice Mao some dodge. Don't understand why she suddenly asked this. Casually ask, can't it be the Lu Jiang of the Zhou dynasty who won over General Lu? The Cloud Dance conceals the chill in the eyes. It seems that it's really just curious to ask. Secretly, but has been exploring the eyes of Frostzay. If not, Frostzay ice eyes in dodge. Seems to fall into a section of the past that he does not want to recall. Cloud Dance Mao Guang Am. It seems that her guess is right. That Lu Bai is really lying. He is not the son of General Lu at all. Then he would be. If you don't want to say it, don't say it. I'll pay attention to your business. After that, Yunwu turned and left. Long Qingxia is standing not far away from her, with a lazy smile on his mouth. Then he grabbed her hand, some overbearing, some in front of other men. The intention to declare sovereignty. Cloud Dance helpless smile, but also did not have any struggle, as he took her hand. In this way, the two hands holding hands, disappeared in the night of the stars. Frostzay looked at the cloud disappeared back, ice eyes slightly low, showing a rare stiff smile. A summoner's words he believed. He must find out the man and kill him himself. In the night, Dragon Qingxia looks at Cloud Dance's meditative side face. His sword eyebrows are low. What do you find? Cloud Dance raises mouth to shake head. Toward him show a smile that let him rest assured in different way. Unimportant matter, discover don't discover, to us all same. Dragon Qing evil slightly jaw head. The corner of the mouth evil spirit a yang. Because only my thing is important to you. This words listen really comfortable. You said it yourself. Cloud Dance white he one eye. Afterward the head also don't turn round to leave. Under the stars, the mystery of Dragon's sudden evil smile. The evil of smile and the indifference of smile. Suddenly his white shadow passed by, and in an instant he came to a tree. His indifferent eyes were just opposite the eyes that had been peeping at them. No, it should have been peeping into her eyes. Xianshan looked at the dragon in front of him, and was surprised. How did you find me? He used 1,000-year-old osmanthus, which can hide all the flavor of his body, including the unique flavor and spiritual power of the beast. Even if he is super capable, he should not find out. Long Qingxia's mouth was filled with a bloodthirsty smile. Looking at his eyes he said, Do you think I killed you neatly or let your blood dry first? Xianshan touched his bloodthirsty eyes, suddenly stepped back. This is the college, can't kill people. Yes, the people I want to kill. Even if they are standing in the Emperor's hall now, are you sure the academy can save you? Dragon Qingxia's eyes are full of sinister evil, with a touch of scarlet, just like a bloodthirsty wolf, terrible and merciless. Why kill me? Xianshan was scared by his eyes, so he couldn't speak quickly. He asked casually, From the first time you look at her, she should be dead. Long Qingxia didn't give him a chance to talk. His eyes didn't look at him. With a wave of his hand, a wooden sword with purple fighting spirit stabbed him in the chest. Xianshan looks at the fierce wooden sword with purple fighting spirit. His eyes are shocked. Just as he is about to fight, he finds that his body is bound by something and can't move. He stares big eyes, looking at the wooden sword getting closer and closer, finally powerful into his heart. To death, he is a little confused. There is no chance to resist. In the college he would kill if he wanted to. Originally he held that this was a college. Even if he was found tracking, he would not worry about his life. Long Qingxia looks at the dead body on the ground. His evil eyes are slightly narrowed. The scarlet and bloodthirsty color has retreated, and the corner of his mouth is drawing a smile. Why don't you give her this gift? Doesn't she have a cannibal flower? That's a good way to kill the dead. Although he was absolutely sure that he would not be doubted by the fact that he did not need to destroy the corpse, the gallantry still had to be offered. Yunwu returned to the dormitory, just ready to lie down, but heard a dull sound outside the door, got up to open the door. Just when saw that corpse outside the door of the room, the Mao light suddenly a cold. Who? Lifting his eyes he glanced around, but didn't find anyone. Yu Guang accidentally glanced at a note on the door, and there was a helpless undercurrent in the bottom of his eyes. Before going to bed, I gave my husband a big gift of cannibal to you. How was the gallantry? There's an evil and shameless smile on the back. Cloud Dance glanced at the underground Xianshan. Willow eyebrow a low, and then look at the note. The eye light swept a sharp edge. People of the Beast Gate? It seems that there are so many beasts hidden in the inner college. However, this man, his hospitality is special enough. Who's up for a body? Cloud Dance's forehead suddenly a black line floating. But Cloud Dance still calls out Hongling. In order not to dirty her room, she let Hongling eat outside. When she closed the door, she told Hongling that if anyone found it, they would catch it. The low-level ones would eat it directly, and the high-level ones would come back to see her. It seems that you can still hear the sound of Hongling eating outside. In the early morning, when everything was quiet, more and more people began to appear in the college. The students of inner college knew that Yunwu was going to leave with others today, and they gathered early in the morning to see her off. Although a little friendship, only Ling Feng, unintentional, and Xiaozhu. But others are out of admiration, appreciation, admiration. And the last look at a beautiful man. Everyone's reasons are different, but they all come. It seems that the whole college has come out to send them. Be careful all the way. Ling Feng walks and looks at the Cloud Dance's side. Yen Road. A don't give up flash in the eyes. Cloud Dance looked back at him, nodded, mouth slightly a yawn. Continue to work hard. The next I hope to get the news is that you represent the Three Kingdoms competition. Ling Feng nodded, certainly. And Long Qingxia and the other four. All the time I followed Yunwu, except Shangguan, and unintentionally said something. Others were indifferent. In this college, they don't know anyone except Cloud Dance. Soon they came to the border of the school gate. Yunwu looked back at the crowd who saw her off. It was rare for them to raise the corner of their mouth in front of so many people, and said with a smile, "Thank you for seeing her off. Goodbye when you have a chance." Everyone was waving goodbye to her. Cloud Dance just found that no matter what happened before, as long as there is strength, it seems that there will always be someone following behind, and it can't help but show a sneer again. Think of 2 days ago. She was ridiculed. Fiancé is a waste, who see her as a pair of hate to death but dare not how eyes. And now? Cloud Dance sneers. Nangongyi blew his whistle, and soon the beast flew down from the air. When he saw the cloud dancing, the beast trembled instinctively. Then he didn't look at her anymore, but looked at her secretly. Yunwu glances at it indifferently. It is a shiver of excitement. She shakes her head secretly. Heaven can tell her that she has done nothing. It seems that this guy is really scared. After saying goodbye to the crowd, the 6 of them left by the carving beast and went on their journey of experience. Whispering wind in my ear, the breath of inner college gradually disappeared. People raised their eyes to gaze at the last one, and they all recovered their usual look. Xiaowu, where are we going now? You're not going to buy us, are you? Shangguan leaned on the back of the carving beast and said with a casual smile. The cloud dances, and the dark light flashes by. Then he raised his eyes and glanced at him. Where you go is where you go. But with your posture, does anyone want to go? After hearing this, people's faces changed a little. None of us. I'm generally acknowledged to be a romantic man. Shangguan brushed from carving beast back, sat up. A pair of eyes surprised looking at Cloud Dance. Excuse. Cloud Dance coldly looked at him, then lazily closed his eyes. That's all. The corner of Shangguan's mouth twitches, and he looks at the other four guys with a smile staring at him. His smile is so creepy that he has no choice but to dance in the clouds. After the beast sent them down the mountain, they left. In this way, the five took the lead of Yunwu and set foot on the so-called experience road with Yunwu. Cloud Dance has been walking northward since it came out of the college. No matter where it passes, it doesn't stop. Several days passed. After passing many good places for training, it seems that Yunwu doesn't plan to stop. Xiaowu, where do you want to go? We went in the air. Why do we have to walk here? For a few days my feet are blistering. Finally, Shangguan couldn't help but look up at Yunwu. Go where you like. Yunwu looks back at him. It's cool in my eyes, as if I'm asking, do you have any opinions? Shangguan Yunwu withdrew his gaze at Shangguan, and a trace of meditation passed through his eyes. According to the records of the Dragon Scroll, one of the maps of the Summoning Temple is located in the north outside the college. According to the location on the Dragon Scroll, she plans to take them to find the map through experience, because the tornado shows that it's an extremely dangerous place. If they have a few free experts, it won't be useless, and the chance of winning will be much greater. Just a few days ago, I didn't know exactly where I was in the north, so I chose to walk. After this close, the tornado seems to have some feeling. Cloud Dance tightly pursed mouth slightly a yawn. Suddenly, a touch of purple shadow passed, has been flying away. Shangguan raised his eyes and looked at the purple figure in the distance in the air. The corners of his mouth turned slightly. Why have you been there long ago? Dragon Qing evil mouth slightly a yawn. I ground across a touch of helpless, then followed by other people also follow in the past. About an hour. The golden light reappeared in Yunwu's mind, and the display position of the tornado had arrived. Yunwu looked down and fell steadily on the ground. Cloud Dance looked at the position in front of her eyes. Her eyes lifted slightly and her mouth showed a smile, which should be here. What came into her eyes was a boundless forest. The cloud danced and looked at the periphery of the forest. Her eyes narrowed slightly. When Lingqi was in the sky, she was in the sky for nearly half an hour. Every tree and vine in the forest is covered with strange crystal green, just like liquid, as if you can pierce the ground with your hand. At this time, Long Qingxie, Ningganji, Shangguan, Zhou Feiyu and Ma Bai all came one after another. The others looked at the forest, and there was a trace of surprise in their eyes. At this time, the mind of the tornado again gives information. The oldest North Hebei Warcraft forest. The terrain is intricate, the number of different Warcraft levels is endless, and there are various species of variation. The danger of this place, even the great martial arts masters and martial saints, may not be able to walk out safely, so generally no one dares to enter. 100 years ago, the North Hebei Warcraft forest was listed as the first forbidden forest. Cloud Dance looked at the information given by the Dragon Scroll, with a bright radiance in the corner of her mouth, looked back at the people behind her and said calmly, "This is it." The dragon leans evil to smell speech. The face of the evildoer has a slight change. The eyes of a pair of evil spirit suns slightly ashun. How could this little thing know this dangerous place? However, Long Qingxie soon put away the undercurrent, and said with a smile, "You are the captain, so I will obey your orders." Nangongyi's calm and indifferent eyes drooped slightly. The fundus of his eyes was full of light. He raised his eyes and looked at the clouds. This is the Warcraft forest in northern Hebei. It's the most dangerous place. Are you sure you want to go? It seems that Nangongyi knows this place. Cloud Dance nods, the corner of the mouth outlines, "Go." The map of the Summoning Temple is in it. No matter what variant of Warcraft there is, she will break through it. She already has 4 in her hand, plus the 1 inside. There are 5. If you add in the inner college, it will just make up 6. As for the remaining 6, sooner or later seeing her attitude without hesitation, Nangongyi kept silent for a while, then nodded, his eyes restored to their usual gentleness, and his voice was warm and pure. "Then go." He will accompany her as long as she goes. Zhou Feiyu looks at Yunwu and sees that they both agree. Naturally, he has no opinion. As long as Yunwu wants to do something, he will follow. Lu Bai also has no opinion, still a pair of dark cold empty looking at her. And Shangguan put away the surprised look, but also helplessly shook his head, no objection. This northern Hebei Warcraft forest is also famous. It is said that all the warriors dream of all kinds of strange and precious things in it, but none of the people who go in can come out in the end. I don't know how many samurais' blood irrigated this place, which contains all kinds of strange power. In addition to summoning the map of the temple, Yunwu has another idea in mind. Since this is the burial place of hundreds of warriors and martial saints, she has to try even more. Maybe the blind cat will not only die when it bumps into the dead mouse, but also get all the things that warriors dream of? She's always been lucky, isn't she? She wants to strengthen her own ability, take back the national master Mo Yebing, absorb her own strength, take back with interest. At that time it was time for her to crusade. When they stepped into the forest, the vines they stepped on made a zizi sound, just like the sound of stepping on the snow mountain. The dark green vines, the outside layer began to spray with disgusting juice, just like the poisonous dark green, sticky. It makes people feel nauseous. I can't help retching. But in a flash, the mucus suddenly seeped into the forest soil and disappeared, as if the mucus she had just seen was just an illusion. Cloud Dance slightly frowned. I bottom skim a touch of surprise. Be careful, everyone. With the other 5 people asked, Cloud Dance will take back to continue to move forward. With the deepening, the strange smell in the forest is more and more clear. I always feel that there are some eyes staring at them. I also feel that the intricate vines under my feet seem to be moving. But after really staring at it, there was no abnormal feeling. Cloud Dance can't help frowning again. What's the matter? This place, oh. All of a sudden, a strange animal howled and suddenly, the whole forest was tense. The ground rumbled, like the feeling of 1,000 troops attacking. I saw that with the dull sound, the vines of the forest seemed to be more green, and seemed to melt in an instant. Yunwu and other people's faces sank slightly, and they were alert immediately. At this time, a pair of purplish-red animal eyes appeared beside a tree. Cloud Dance smelled a touch of sweet blood. Suddenly looked back. The tusk, which has always been huge and has 2 horns on its back and a fist on its mouth, is eating its prey there. When he saw Yunwu and others, he immediately let out a howl. His fangs stained red with blood were full of blood, and they were staring at them. It's like a few people are dancing in the clouds, disturbing its eating. It's the 6th level beast. Lu Bai looked at the beast, a pair of dark eyes slightly changed. Li beast is a kind of extremely crazy abnormal beast, which is to see living things, either kill them or eat them, or be killed. The most important thing is that they will not appear alone, but in groups. Nangong Yi also looked at the beast, calm eyes flashed a touch of vigilance. As soon as his voice fell, Yunwu felt that there were several more pairs of eyes around him, and the same purple-red ferocious eyes were staring at her. One of them has a lot of saliva. Cloud Dance's face suddenly alung. Immediately, black eyes flashed past purple light. A bloodthirsty sneer appeared in the corner of his mouth. The bloodthirsty intention in his purple eyes appeared, and he said coldly, "It's rare to meet the advanced warcraft of level 6. If you haven't eaten for a day, you should take the drooling meat first." What? See in the Cloud Dance words a fall of a moment, also didn't give a few men reaction. The airstream condenses in the air, and the bloody tearing is imminent. Yunwu's figure disappeared in front of people's eyes in the blink of an eye. Looking up again, she had already killed into the herd. And the first one to do the operation was the fierce beast. Dragon Qing evil several start along. But soon they didn't want to help. They just quietly watched the battle between man and beast. They knew that as long as she could deal with it, they would do her the best if they didn't do it. She wants to fight, so when she is safe, let her play. However, Long Qingxia half squints his eyes, and a touch of meditation passes through his eyes. Just as he enters the forest, he meets the fierce beast. The ability of the fierce beast is already a high-level beast among all kinds of beasts, but it is forced to stay at the edge of the forest. It seems that the more it goes, the more important it is. All of a sudden, a low groaning voice roared, and all the people present felt the taste of naked killing blood. Everyone looked at each other with a clear look between their eyebrows. It's a half-man. Nangong Yi's elegant eyes are fierce. The half-human beast is not like the 10,000 beast gate, but belongs to one kind of special warcraft. Why don't we both go in the past and have that good thing here? Isn't it a pity if we don't go? Shangguan's mouth was full of uninhibited smile, and then glanced at Nangong Yi. There is inner alchemy in the body of a half-human beast. The ability of inner alchemy is equivalent to that of a half-human beast. Eating its inner alchemy is equal to the power of picking up in vain. But it's not easy to get, Nathan. The half-human beast is bloodthirsty, and the blood on its body has never been dried, so its inner alchemy power is very strong, but it is also extremely bloody. But Nangong Yi slightly raised his eyes and took a look at Yunwu. This subtle look was collected by the dragon. Long Qingxia's eyes looked at him darkly. My woman let other people to protect. Don't I have no face? Nangong Yi smelled the words and dropped his eyes for a moment. The bottom of his eyes flashed a touch of gloom. Then he looked up at Shangguan and said, Let's go. Under the black veil, Long Qingxia looks at Nangong Yi. His white hands are a little tight. The killing intention in his eyes suddenly disappears for half a moment. There is a smile in the corner of his mouth that can't be guessed, so he puts his eyes on Yunwu again. There seem to be more and more rotten peach blossoms around her. It really made him a little uneasy. The black flame dagger in Yunwu's hand, like a soul, exudes frightening and chilling killing intention. She doesn't have to use a big knife to deal with these animals. However, if you want to solve the problem quickly, you should kill the chicken with a butcher's knife. What's more, it's a little bit strange that a beast is running towards her. Disgusting. But at this time, a fierce beast, which has been hidden in the dark, creeps forward quietly behind the cloud dance, and looks at the cloud dance with purplish-red eyes, like a prey that has reached its mouth. Level 6 Warcraft. It seems to be growing wisdom. Little beast, put away your unpleasant eyes. Otherwise I will be angry. At the moment when a voice sounded like a smile, Yunwu turned her head slightly to see the fierce beast creeping behind her. What? The fierce beast at the foot of a meal. That pair of beast eyes with a trace of undercurrent staring at the cloud. Said to put away your eyes. Unexpectedly you want to die by yourself. Then I'll give you a ride. Cloud dance sneers, language falls. Abruptly, body shape rises in the air. A strange strong breath, suddenly out of the air. The fierce beast was frightened by the breath, as if he was scared and angry. For a moment, his fangs were exposed ferociously, and the tearing cloud was dancing and howling. The black flame sword and the purple cold figure, wrapped with wind elements, instantly cut through the air and hit the beast. In the blink of an eye, the sword was bleeding, and the beast fell to the ground. Blood dyed her purple skirt, blooming a flame of flowers. She looked back at the remaining two beasts. The bloody smile spread around the corner of her mouth. In a moment, the breath was sharp and the shadow was flowing. The two beasts fell to the ground. Yunwu put away the sword. The bloodthirsty radiance of his mouth gradually turned into a sneer, and then he walked towards the dragon without looking back. What about Shangguan and Nangongji? Cloud Dance looked at the original place. Only 3 people. Suddenly am I. Killed just now, dragged away by the beast. Dragon Qing evil eyes slightly a drop. It seems very difficult to hide the sadness. For a moment, the cold suddenly appeared on Yunwu's body, and the purple pupil was full of the sense of killing. But the next second, she suddenly split to the dragon and scolded. Dragon, it's fun to play with me, isn't it? Don't you still cooperate with me? Let's see how tacit we are. Dragon Qingxia easily dodged a blow. The corner of his mouth was smiling, and his eyes were doting on him. Fortunately, Cloud Dance blinked, and the sadness just disappeared. Cloud Dance willow eyebrow a low. The Mao light flits over a silk helpless. In order to prevent not to use violence, she directly ignores his extremely flat appearance. They're going to solve their own rations. Don't worry about them. Let's go. Zhou Feiyu's sharp eyes, deep and terrible, awe-inspiring voice said. If it wasn't for this little thing, he would not have been an ordinary woman. He could have taken her away from inner college. Now that he has come to this place, he must improve his ability, because he didn't break through in the alien space last time. He also needs to improve his strength and bring her back to his own territory. Yunwu nods. There's no need to worry about that. Nanganji and Shengguan are few rivals. Besides, they are on the outskirts of the forest. The danger index is not too big. However, Yunwu raised her eyes and glanced at the strange woods, frowning slightly. Although I know the map of the temple is in this forest, but I don't know the details of the map. I can only look for it like a needle in a haystack. Let's go. Cloud Dance lifted eyes to see a dragon to pour evil. The eye-ground deep place is dark and cool. As soon as the dragon's evil mouth was raised, the cloud dancing waist was circled, and a touch of evil light swept through his eyes. And behind Zhou Feiyu and Lu Bai, looking at the hand and mouth corners of the dragon's evil placed on the cloud dance waist, their eyes are cold and creepy. Sooner or later, the man around her must be killed. Gloomy forest, strange breath, silent people numb. Occasionally, there is a tearing howl, which makes you feel creepy in an instant. The spirit of cloud dance searches the forest to see if there is anything unusual. Only then can it be found that the whole forest is secluded and terrifying, with different light and shade, and sometimes strong and sometimes weak. Suddenly, she found that in the middle of the forest, there was a mountain peak, which was like a mountain tower, towering into the clouds, but it was so wide that she could feel the spiritual power around the mountain. There was a trace of meditation at the bottom of her eyes. How could there be such a big mountain in the forbidden ancient Warcraft forest? Which way? Long Qingxia looks down at Cloud Dance's contemplative eyes, and the corner of his mouth outlines a perfect arc. The Cloud dances back to God, looking at the two intersections in front of us, passing a trace of surprise. A path of dense fog circling. Hand cannot see 5 fingers of confusion. A path is a little dark, gray and suffocating. This one. Cloud Dance refers to the dense fog path said. The mountain is on their left. Only this path can get there. Dragon Qing evil slightly jawhead, mouth dyed with a mysterious smile. Then go this way. Cloud Dance looking at his smile, eyebrow tip a low. This man don't know she is not aimless to come here? Then she gave a deep smile. This guy is the roundworm in her stomach. What can he not guess? What's more, he knew very well about calling the temple map. After walking into the dense fog path, Yunwu suddenly finds that there is a border on the path. He wants to fly in the air, unless he breaks the border. She's half squinting. Is there anyone here? Otherwise, how could it be bound? Or has the boundary existed for many years? Put away the contemplative eyes. Cloud Dance alert attention around. This path is the existence of dense fog, because of the border above. Long Qingxia naturally noticed the boundary. The evil spirit's smiling eyes were slightly dark. He obviously felt the dangerous breath in front of him. This feeling was similar to that of the last time he fought against the national master Mo Yebing, but it was different. Lu Bai, who has been following the cloud dance and the dragon's evil spirits, also smells the smell. In his dark eyes, a blade of ice passes by, and it's gone in a twinkling of an eye. Zhou Feiyu looks back slightly, glances at Lu Bai beside him, then draws back his eyes, and his sharp eyes reflect on something. He obviously felt the sultry breath from Lu Bai. Although he had that kind of breath, the breath just now had made him feel a little dangerous. Who is he? After walking for a short time, looking at the trees and roads clearly visible in front of them, they found that they had walked out of the road in the border. After walking out of the dense road, Yunwu looks back and finds that the fog on the misty path has disappeared, which is no different from the ordinary road. She narrowed her eyes, stretched out a hand and raised it slightly, but suddenly stopped in mid-air. Long Qingxia looked at her hand and said with a cold smile, "Don't touch it. It's a border, and it's very difficult to break." Cloud Dance lifted her eyes and forgot Dragon's evil eye. She took back her arm, and her eyes were covered with the dark light of bloodthirsty. At the corner of her mouth she slowly outlined a cold smile. "Well, never die." Long Qingxia dropped his eyes with a smile, and an evil smile was on the corner of his mouth. He attached it to her ear and said, "Before I eat you, how can I be willing to die for my husband? How can I be willing to die for you?" Cloud Dance facial expression a black, lift mouth to stare him one eye, sullen low voice scold away. Mouth cheap. Then he turned around and left, But at the moment when he turned around, his eyes were beautiful and his cheeks were flushed. This guy's mouth was cheap, but it didn't change at all. But Zhou Feiyu clearly glanced at the shyness of her cheek, and the anger in her heart came up. Her sharp eyes glared at the dragon. It seemed that she would do it in the next second. Dragon Qing evil I light am I, the corner of the mouth floats lazy smile. My woman is not what person can covet, the least price is opportunity. Zhou Feiyu stares at the back of the dragon as he walks away. A touch of cold spreads around him. He said opportunity? Is it difficult to all of a sudden his eyes were cold, and his eyes were as gloomy as prison. His hands were clucking. Dragon Qing evil mouth yang, evil lazy lift has been slightly drooping eyes. Quickly catch up with Cloud Dance. The whole person's feeling seems to be comfortable up. Cloud Dance raised eyes to see a good mood of Dragon Qing Xia. Slightly frown. Won the lotto also not smile like this? Just as Yunwu took back Long Qingxia's eyes. A mountain in front of him stopped everyone. The cloud dances, the eye light is twinkling, slightly hooks the corner of mouth. Is this mountain peak? When people looked at the mountain, they were surprised that the power around the mountain was above the four of them. The mountain peak is surrounded by beautiful and visible spiritual power. It looks so bright, but they feel that in the light, there is absolute darkness. It seems that the dark atmosphere, which is ready to move and restless, wants to break through the light power, but it can't succeed. Huang Yingying, you are back at last. Suddenly, a voice of arrogance, hoarseness and anger suddenly rang up. I could tell that this person should be old. All of them were surprised. The voice was not from outside the tower, but from the people inside the tower using their mind. Can mind be converted into sound? Cloud Dance squints at Mao Sun. The surprise inside the Mao can't hide. Every time she uses mindfulness, others can't hear it. Naturally, she can't turn mindfulness into voice. But this man in the tower can turn his mind into a voice at will? However, soon Cloud Dance suddenly raised her eyes. Yellow Warbler? Isn't that the name of her mother she never met? He just said he's finally back? What do you mean? Did her mother imprison this man here? Is it possible? After she was born, her mother disappeared. So the old man has been here for at least 15 years. Haha, Huang Yingying, you have imprisoned me here. You think that no one can break into the border. In the end, someone has broken in? The old and hoarse voice of the tower came out again. The sound with a strong force. All of a sudden, the forest issued a buzz, constantly reverberating. The whole forest seems to suddenly flutter up. Yunwu felt that the ground under his feet was constantly shaking, and seemed to hear the howling sound of the fast-running animals. Is the herd afraid? Cloud Dance slightly surprised. What kind of power? Just a sound. Can let the fierce bloodthirsty warcraft here escape? People outside the tower, open the border for me. I may be able to spare your life. That hoarse voice pulled a voice, once again into the public ear. It seems that because I haven't spoken for a long time, I can't speak clearly. Inside the tower. What can you do if I don't open it for you? The cloud dances, the Mao Guang is one am I, the corner of the mouth yang is putting on a sneer. Haha, a girl with a little ability and courage. The old man laughed, even the laughter came out with strength. Although I can't get out, it's more than enough to kill you. It's easy to kill us. Isn't this border still open for you? The cloud dances. The eye ground is suffused with pure light. The corner of the mouth is raising a touch of cool radiance. The old man's desire to leave the prison is his biggest shortcoming. It's sure to save his life. Hearing this, the old man was silent for a while. Then he said in a hoarse voice, I'll give you a chance. If I can't open it, I'll take your life. Dragon pour evil coagulate mountain peak. The eyes inside slightly think, the smile of the corner of the mouth has dispersed. Lu Bai, who has been following them all the time, still looks empty when he hears the old man's voice, but there is a chill in his dark eyes. Zhou Feiyu has been paying attention to his abnormal. He will wipe Sun Han completely in the eyes. Awe-inspiring mouth slightly move, sharp eyes ponder. What's the connection between Lu Bai and the old man? Oh. Cloud Dance mouth slightly pull smile voice. Can't say is satire or sneer. You can't open the border. Do you think we can? The old man laughed. and the sense of suffocation in his hoarse voice became more and more obvious. In addition to Huang Yingying, only her offspring can enter the boundary. Only the blood of the clean witch family can enter the boundary. You girl, is that Huang Yingying's offspring? Blood? The cloud dances and hears the words. The eyes meditate. Suddenly her face changed. When she thought of fighting with the beast, she hurt her arm. Just a little blood. She didn't care much, so she applied some medicine, and didn't make a sound. Now think about it. Before entering the dense road, she threw away the gauze with blood. Is it because of the blood? However, soon the clouds and the corners of the mouth rose. It seems that her mother is really powerful, and she can trap the old man with terrible power for more than 10 years. Just as Yunwu was about to say something, he was interrupted by the dragon's evil words. How can you be imprisoned here by my mother? Is it not enough? Dragon Qing evil eyes flow dark, looking at the mountain smile again. When Yen cloud dance, Zhou Feiyu and Lu Bai are slightly stunned. Long Qingxia secretly cast a wink at cloud dance, and the corner of his mouth was covered with a smile of evil spirit. Yunwu looks at his smile, frowns slightly, and a trace of complexity passes through his eyes. This man, he is taking her danger to himself. Although I didn't see the old man, I could understand from the breath around that the old man's strength had surpassed the four of them. In this old man's words, we can judge that the old man's temper is uncertain and moody. Even if the border is opened, it is not possible that he will let them go. So if you want to leave here safely, you have to kill the old man. And the old man's first goal is her Huang Yingying's blood. So it's you. If your mother didn't use a trick to lead me into this border, did you think she could trap me? When the old man heard the speech, his voice was suddenly overcast, and the killing intention between the words was everywhere. All of a sudden, the dark green vines and trees on the four sides of the mountain seemed to be shaken by something, constantly toppling and collapsing. In an instant, the trees around the peak were flattened. This moment of everything, just from the old man's anger? Cloud Dance looked at the fallen trees, heart is surprised. Surprised eyes have so a subtle zhengran. It's just a voice of anger mixed with spiritual power. It has such great power. Who is trapped in it? Dragon Qing evil looking at flattened all around, always calm eyes, but now dark and terrible. The corner of the mouth Yangyi bloodthirsty. Wuzuan? Or higher. Even he can't see it. It seems that this old man can't stay. Even if I can open this border, I will open it if I know that you will kill me when you come out for revenge. Long Qingxia's bloodthirsty eyes look at the entrance of the mountain, with scarlet awns like fierce prison. What did you say? As soon as the old man heard the dragon's heresy, he would not open the border. His angry voice suddenly sounded, shaking the whole forest. Do you want to die? Long Qingxia has deep meaning to coagulate one-eye cloud dance. Yunwu knows what he wants to say. If you want to get the summoning temple map inside, you must open the border. Can open the consequences of the border, will inevitably face the old man. Perhaps it will be a life and death struggle. But for Cloud Dance, life and death are always with each other. If you want what you want, you must fight for it. Even if you break your teeth, you will swallow it with blood. This is her real Cloud Dance. Now, Cloud Dance looked back at Zhou Feiyu and Lu Bai and winked at them. Two people clear slightly jawhead. And at this moment, suddenly, a touch of purple figure rushed away in the air and jumped straight to the border peak. She followed three residual shadows at the same time. In midair, Yunwu nips the wound on her arm which is not bleeding again. The blood drips down with her in the air, and there seems to be some fluctuations in the air. In a flash, the four entered the entrance of the mountain. At that moment, the old man seemed to feel that the border had been opened. As soon as he was about to leave, he found that the border was still unbroken, and his eyes were full of murders. How dare you play with him? At this time, the four of them have entered the mountain. It was dark all around the mountain, only a faint candle light was on. The wall was extremely smooth, and there were two openings in it. A dragon wall. It's a beast wall. It looks mysterious. The spiritual power here is very strong. It seems that they all come from that direction. The cloud dances Mao Guang to look at the entrance of the fierce beast wall, slightly frown. and the aura of spiritual power was obviously emitted from the old man. How dare you play with me? I think you are looking for death. The old man's angry roar came out of the beast door. All of a sudden, the whole mountain rocked violently and roared like thunder. Yunwu found that the walls inside the mountain were full of cracks, and some places had been completely broken into gravel. It was probably caused by the old man's continuous destruction in the past 10 years. The mountain had already come to the point of collapse, but it didn't fall because of the support of the border outside. The cloud dances the Mao light to pass a to put on surprise. Didn't expect this boundary incredibly so strong. Suddenly, a black shadow in the beast door appeared in front of them. Come on. It's too fast for them to touch. After seeing clearly, an old man with white eyebrows, wrinkled face and proud eyes has already stood in front of them. The old man was dressed in a black robe. He was as pale as a dead man. The wrinkles on his face could kill flies. His thin lips were black and purple, and he was tight. His body was entangled with a dark mist. The breath can only be described in 2 words: dark. I thought you would run away, but I sent you to the door by myself. It seems that I really underestimate you. Miet Song looked at the cloud dance with a sneer, and then looked at the eyes to the dragon. Are you Huang Yingying's son? Dragon Qing evil slightly jawhead, mouth young with a smile. Is. When the old man heard the words, the dark eyes suddenly changed color, and a sense of killing suddenly appeared. Open the border, I'll spare your life. Long Qingxia glanced at him lazily. The evil spirit in the corner of his mouth was outlined, but the bottom of his eyes was invisible. Let's see if you have that ability. When Miet Song heard it, his killing intention filled the whole mountain space. A pair of dark eyes were full of strange smoke purple. Looking for death. Bang. As soon as his voice fell, the crowd burst with a loud bang in the blink of an eye. I saw a residual shadow passing people's eyes. When I looked back, the dragon's evil figure had been hit on the wall more than 10 meters away from the peak. All of a sudden, the whole mountain space wall soil flying, filled with pungent soil debris. This scene happened. Even Cloud Dance, a few people did not respond quickly. When Yunwu saw the shadow under the wall, his face suddenly changed. His heart felt as if he had been stabbed by something, and his fists suddenly clenched, as if he was suffering from the rising fury of his heart. Just for a moment, the moment she didn't even see it, Long Qingxia was beaten away. Who on earth is this old man? With the dust falling, the figure of dragon's evil gradually becomes clear. Long Qingxia half kneels on the ground. After a long time, he looks up at Yunwu and gives her a charming look. He's okay. Cloud Dance see him that appearance. The heart that be pricked seems to just relax a breath, endure of emotion, seemed to just slightly calm a little bit. Then the figure swept away and came to him in an instant. He said in a low voice, "How do you feel?" Long Qingxia stood up, and the evil spirit raised the corner of his mouth, patted his clothes, then raised his eyes and glared at Miet Song. Smile, not smile of say. Was shocked for a while, nothing, not painful. Miet Song looked at the dragon, and was shocked by him. However, when Miet Song heard the words, he burst out laughing. Ha ha ha, it's worthy of being the descendant of Huang Yingying, but just now the boundary of space seems to be a little weak. The forest of Miet Song's smile is deep to the bone. The hair of smile is creepy. The dragon tilted his evil eyes at Miet Song, and the bottom of his eyes was dark. In fact, just now, fortunately, he was on guard. When he saw him attack, he made a space barrier in time to resist his attack, but he was also ejected by the rebound force for tens of meters. If the body was hit just now, it only needs one hit. I'm afraid it will need to replace the bone. The cloud dances the Mao light ice cold of looking at Miet Song. Purple pupil Mao just want to emerge. Dragon Qing evil but a pull her into the bosom. Purple pupil Mao and didn't be exterminate Song to see. Don't worry. I'll find out about him before I start. Low voice very light brush over Cloud Dance earside. The two hugged each other, seemingly very ambiguous. However, Zhou Feiyu and Lu Bai understand what they are doing. Cloud Dance tiny narrow cold eyes, but still put away the purple pupil eyes. However, when she glanced at Miet Song, the undercurrent in her eyes was turbulent, and a touch of killing intention rose from the bottom of her heart. It seems that the lesson is not enough. At this time, the old man's angry and hoarse voice resounded again. At that moment, I saw the black shadow coming. The speed is as fast as lightning. Just when the dragon was fighting back, a big black flame knife blocked his chest and took the black fighting spirit from the black figure. When the two collided, the big knife made a sonorous sound. Yunwu's hand holding broadsword was shaking. She seemed to be able to feel the shaking voice of palm bone pain. How strong? Who the hell is he? Mietsong looked at the sword in Yunwu's hand, and his purple-black lips showed a strange smile. It's good to catch my blow. The better is in the back. Zhou Feiyu looked at the trembling hands of Cloud Dance. His sharp eyes fell to the freezing point, and his figure swept away like an illusion towards the extinction. Lu Bai is following him. The black figure exudes the atmosphere of gloomy killing, but his dark eyes are full of fun at the moment. That moment. When Yunwu looks at Lu Bai, he always feels familiar with the strange smell of killing, just like Mietsong raised a white eyebrow and looked at the two people who came from front to back. A touch of ridicule passed by. The next second, the figure flashed and disappeared. When Zhou Feiyu came, his figure stopped immediately, and a flame was burning in his sharp eyes. What about people? Watch the corner. Cloud Dance, drink low. Suddenly, the three men looked at the shadow on the wall together. Their eyes were cold, and they were ready to kill each other. The next moment, Cloud Dance and others four white figure, instant toward the shadow. Long Qingxia, holding the ape, pierces the space, sharp and fast. Yunwu holds a big knife and splits the air flow. His strong power is instantly released. Zhou Feiyu's figure is like a shuttle, and the dagger on his waist turns into a strange sword. Lu Bai followed on the left, attacking as well. Bang, with a roar from all over the world. The walls of the mountain were broken. The clattering stones were falling. The dust was flying, and the half-human high cave appeared. A strong white light came in through the cave. Mietsong stood not far away and looked at the four people. His eyes were cold and his mouth was full of blood. Cloud Dance looks at the tiny wound on Mietsong's body, and her eyes suddenly squint. How many wounds did the four strike together? Damn it! Long Qingxia was stunned for a moment. He thought it would make him suffer. Now it seems that I really have to show my ability. However, he doesn't want others to know. Even the little thing, it's not time to know all of a sudden. A strange smell passed by. Zhou Feiyu and Lu Bai felt a little hazy in their mind, as if they wanted to be in a coma. What's going on? Zhou Feiyu's sharp eyes were staring at the dragon Qingxia around him. He seemed to understand something. He clenched his fists and forced his consciousness. What do you want to do? And Lu Bai also felt not adapt, but not Zhou Feiyu's anger, but the corner of his mouth swept an imperceptible smile. The next second, Zhou Feiyu and Lu Bai all fell to the ground. Dragon Qing Evil looked at them. The corner of his mouth raised a strange radiance. Cloud Dance slightly frowned, looking at two people who fall to the ground. Eyebrow a see you rise. Mao Guang doubts of sea to dragon poor evil. You really annoy me. In this case, I will take the blood myself. With the roar of Mietsong, Yunwu suddenly felt dizzy in her mind. Soon her consciousness began to blur. At the last moment, she fell into a warm arms and seemed to see the evil eyes of the dragon. Go to sleep. When you wake up, you can fight thoroughly and finish everything. In the dark, she seems to have heard this sentence. What does that man want to do? Want to die on your own? Yunwu wants to open her mouth, but the darkness attacks her consciousness. Long Qingxia places Yunwu in a place that will not be affected. He raises his eyes and looks at Mikang. His eyes are scarlet and bloodthirsty. The power of extermination comes from the Beast Gate. More than 10 years ago, his ability became more and more dark. Compared with the Ink Night Ice, I'm afraid the ability to destroy the Tsang is not bad at all. Again, he must find out his weakness. Anyway, he is evil body can't die, but she is different. He doesn't allow her to have any accident. Even if she wanted, he would fight for a fair fight for her. You want to beat me on your own? Your mother dare not be so arrogant. Then I'll take your blood first, and then their lives. The laughter of Mietsong was everywhere, and the anger in the smile was burning with fire. Suddenly, A touch of black fighting spirit attacked the dragon. As soon as the dragon's evil figure moved, it dodged and passed, but at the same time, it swept the fighting spirit, and the water attribute suddenly attacked and left. Mietsong's attack on Long Qingxia is just a cold smile. It seems to be looking at the mole ant-like counterattack, not afraid at all, and even, there is a kind of want to play his mockery. He has been imprisoned for more than 10 years. Day and night for more than 10 years. What he wants to do most is to crush the yellow warbler into pieces and crush all the people concerned. It turns out that this is Huang Yingying's son. Naturally, he has to treat him well. Bang! See, the attack of Dragon Qingxia. Don't exterminate that song to break down immediately, completely didn't hurt. Die, or I'll give you a good taste of life. Mietsong looks at the dragon and says with a gloomy smile. From the corner of dragon's evil mouth, he is bloodthirsty and evil? Then we'll see what it's like to say that life is not like death. As soon as the words fell, a strange breath sword waved and took advantage of the gap. The lightning struck quickly. Mietsong gave a gloomy smile and didn't care. But when he came into contact with the breath of dragon's evil, his face changed slightly. Evil? You don't have the aura of witchcraft. Long Qingxia didn't answer. He attacked quickly and bloodthirsty. Mietsong's eyes, which originally mocked and sneered, finally got a trace of serious and bloodthirsty anger. In an instant, the attack started, and two groups of light figures were entangled. The fierce collision sound, the whirling attack, the fierce murderous spirit, are constantly shooting in mid-air. The fierce attack and strange atmosphere filled the whole cave. At this moment, if you let others see it, it will be frightening. This is definitely the fight of the strong among the strong. What's more surprising is that a young man with the strength of Wuxia could fight with the old man who was too strong to see the specific strength for so long. It's not weaker than the downwind at all. Is this human or not? However, this kind of fight, a long time, but still gradually began to appear weaknesses. After half a ring, poof, Dragon Qingxia's body flew out one by one. After landing, he knelt on the ground and covered his chest. The breath in the body was unsteady, and a mouthful of blood gushed out. His face turned pale all of a sudden, but the corner of his cold mouth raised a pale smile. He saw, I'm surprised that I didn't die after so many attacks. Suddenly, the dark shadow attacked the dragon again. Girl, wake up. Girl, are you awake? In my mind, came the call of Bai Lao. In the dark consciousness, Yunwu frowned slightly, as if he finally found the bright struggle to wake up. Cloud Dance eyes slightly opened the eyes without focus. It seems that after a while to restore light. Girl, if you don't wake up, the boy won't be able to survive. Bai Lao's voice appeared in her mind, Cloud dancing and frowning. Suddenly, as if suddenly thought of something, Cloud suddenly raised his eyes. Almost at the same second, the figure suddenly soared, turned into an extreme current and rushed to the dragon. Long Qingxia looks at Mietsong's fierce attack again. His eyes are still bloodthirsty and excited. It seems that he wants to suppress the pain by killing. Just when he's ready to fight back again, a purple figure flashed by in an instant, with the smell of chilling Lingsu's killing. The big knife cut through the dark and cut directly like Mietsong. I was stunned. It seems that I didn't expect the Cloud Dance to suddenly appear. The big sword in Yunwu's hand, with a strong zizi sound, roared past and cut Mietsong's neck. Mietsong pupil eyes micro-lock, almost instantly a hide and open. But he was still cut off a piece of flesh and blood on his shoulder by a big knife. Suddenly, the whole shoulder was bloody. However, when Mietsong looks at a pair of purple pupil eyes of Cloud Dance, a startled anger raised, gloomy eyes a cold, Mietsong sullen Yusen Wei. So you are the daughter of Huang Yingying. Cloud Dance didn't look at him, but turned to run towards Dragon Qingxia, helped him to the wall of the mountain. Worried purple eyes anxiously asked, Dragon Qingxia, how are you? Dragon Qing evil pale mouth slightly a pull. Evil spirit like smile again emerge. Some at a loss of looking at her way. Kiss me, it's okay. Cloud Dance looks at him black fight under the gauze. That evil spirit pale ruffian's face, in the hardest hour. At the moment, there are tears cannot flow out. Why is this fool always so stupid? After being cheated for such a long time, he must be eager to kill you now. His weakness lies in the black mark on his chest. Find a chance to pierce it. Long Qingxia felt that he was going to be unable to hold on. He said it in a low voice. As soon as it was dark, he was in a coma. Cloud dance in the heart of a fierce pull. A touch of unspeakable feeling attack on the heart. Looking at his pale face, she gently kisses it. When she gets up again, the big knife inserted on the ground. Suddenly there was no wind, and a clang vibration reverberated in the mountain cave. Cloud dance pulled out the big knife from the ground. Purple pupil eyes lifted the dark bloodthirsty. The corner of the mouth raised a bloody smell of killing. If you dare to hurt him, I will tear you to pieces. Extremely cold voice, emotion without ups and downs, but with enough extremely cold killing. Suddenly, the other hand turned, the fire element burned in her palm. In a moment, a flaming fire dragon rushed towards Mikang. The black flame sword was hanging on the fire dragon. It was extremely fast. Miet Songwei is stunned. But soon he put a smile on his purple-black lips. In an instant, the black fighting spirit condensed into a black dragon, and suddenly soared into the air to fight with the fire dragon. Cloud dance dark center a startle, the corner of the mouth slightly a draw, fighting to draw out the black dragon? This is definitely the first time I met in a strange world. What is his strength? Suddenly, the cloud dancing figure passed by, and quickly floated to Mietsong's side, and they began to fight at close range. The cloud dances the corner of the mouth to stir up an imperceptible sneer with bloodthirsty. No matter how strong he is, she must let him take off his skin. Ah! Suddenly, Mietsong stepped back and screamed in pain. Her pale face was even whiter. Her angry eyes were burning with anger. She stared at the clouds and wanted to kill her immediately. His hand was dripping with blood. Apart from a tendon, the bone and meat were almost separated, and the blood poured like a spout. The torn flesh and blood, uneven, looks extremely bloody ferocious. Cloud Dance glanced at Red Ling. The corner of the mouth slightly a yang, floated a look of appreciation. She has telepathy with these contract animals. Although Hongling is not a contract animal, it nourishes her blood and grows up. She also has a contract. Hongling has long felt that she is in danger, and has been waiting for her to release it. And just when Yunwu grasped Mietsong's hand, Yunwu immediately summoned Hongling. Hongling did not stop for a moment. Seeing Mietsong's hand, she tore it up. The figure was quick to hear. Although Mietsong retreated in time, his hand was pulled down. Are you a summoner? Mietsong's ferocious face looked at the clouds like Canthus. The words were full of surprise. The cloud dance's purple pupil mouth scarlet, bloodthirsty smile is extremely cold, the corner of the mouth slightly wriggles. So? Then you can't stay. It's up to you if you have the ability. Kung. The clang of the two big knives was again buzzing away. There was as like as two peas in a cloud dance, but only a black one. The cloud dance was a little surprised. It is a replica. The ability to reproduce the shape and ability of a broadsword with your own mind, and use it by yourself is only 60%. However, the 60% ability of Guwu Degeo, together with his own ability to infuse Degeo, has made her hard to compete. Schwabang. With a sudden wave of the copy sword, the cloud dances. With the phagocytosis of the dark atmosphere, Yunwu broadsword is horizontal, blocking a blow, but the body is instantly hit on the wall. She reluctantly support the body did not faint. The breath of the chest is not smooth. A touch of fishy sweet liquid from the mouth slip out. This blow will kill you. Suddenly, the strange shadow of Mietsong came again. Yunwu's eyes are deep, and he has been staring at the shadow of Mietsong, but he can clearly see his body. When Mietsong hit her with the black Duki gravity, in an instant, a strange force suddenly attacked Mietsong and Cloud Dance, and their figures seemed to be shot away by something. When Yunwu was flying out, his whole body seemed to be suddenly emptied by something and banged down on the corner wall. His face turned white, and he was sweating with pain. Cloud Dance feels that there seems to be a force in the Dantian to break out. At this moment, the whole body seems to be suffering from the sudden strange force. What's going on? On the other side, Mietsong covered his bloody chest. His eyes became dark. The light of the killing was completely ignited. and his eyes were dark. What is your strength? The gloomy voice fell, and Miet Song went to the cloud dance. Cloud dance lies on the ground, looking at the Miet Song who is coming towards her again, thinking of the body with teeth biting. However, the strength was completely evacuated, not to mention standing, not even the strength to stretch your fingers. What's going on? Is it hard for her to tell me today? She is not reconciled. Just when Yunwoo wanted to hold up, the strength of her chest appeared again and struggled, as if something was about to break out. Cloud Dance biting his lips in pain, looking at the god of death. There is no resistance. On the other side, Nan Gong-yi, who has been tracking her, suddenly feels a strange uneasiness in her heart. It seems that something has happened to her. Directly his gentle eyes were slightly dark, and Shengguan ran towards the border with the fastest speed. Miet Song looks at the cloud dancing lying on the ground with a smile, and his eyes are mocking and resenting. I will take off your head. When I find Huang Yingying, I will let her see her offspring next time, and then I will send her to see you. The gloomy voice fell, and Miet Song's killing intention flashed out. A palm in a moment toward the head of Cloud Dance swept in the past. How fast? Cloud Dance seems to be able to hear the palm of the hand cut through the air. Out of the wind howling sound, getting closer and closer. You can't hurt my woman. A deep, hoarse, bloodthirsty and evil voice came to Miet Song and Cloud Dance. Boom. A touch of burning purple fighting gas. Suddenly attack. Suddenly will destroy the attack back. Miet Song dark eyes slightly alung, white eyebrow a yang, looked to the figure of that rode hand. When he saw that it was the dragon who had fallen evil, his heart was shocked. Was it him again? Isn't he seriously injured? It seems that this man can't be underestimated, that he can fight back his black fighting spirit. Cloud Dance along the figure to see. When looking at the silver beautiful, evil spirit leisurely figure, pale mouth slightly a hook. Here he comes see Dragon Qing evil at the moment mouth slightly yang, leisurely walk slowly. His originally pale face seemed to have recovered completely. Long Qingxia looked at the sweating Cloud Dance lying on the ground, his eyes on her chest, as if to break the body out of the dark power. The deep eye bottom suddenly am I, a surprised strange pass. Black bite? How could but very soon, I saw that his eye fundus was different, and it disappeared in a twinkling of an eye. A remnant shadow passed by, and the dragon suddenly came to Yunwoo. Little thing, remember you must bear it. Patience. She's been putting up with it, but looking at the moment is trying to control the body's power. Cloud Dance. Dragon Qing evil I passed a touch anxious. Finally, Long Qingxia quickly lowered his head and said a few words in Yunwoo's ear. Then he got up and flashed to the Miet Song. They exchanged hands again. After hearing the words, the Cloud Dance's face changed. Looking at the purple pupil of the dragon, suddenly there was more pain and anger. Yes, anger. Why? Why does he do everything behind her back? Don't tell her until you have to. Yunwoo grits his teeth and bears all the pain. He struggles to sit up on the ground. His eyes have been coagulating the shadow of the dragon, hiding and fighting back. His anger rises from the bottom of his heart. She wants to recover quickly, and then give him a slap. Let him make his own decisions, let him hide everything from her. Let him always have a posture that I am very strong. I am very drag, I am very proud. Her man, she doesn't need to do everything for her. She's not weak, but is such a man, actually lets her heart ache. However, at this moment, she absolutely does not allow herself to be in such a state. The bottom of my heart is angry and unwilling. What people don't know is that when they have strong willpower, they will produce strange abilities. In particular, her blood is a special existence. In the sea of consciousness, a strange white fog suddenly turned into a strange force and suddenly attacked the body. Suddenly, a silver light appeared in Yunwoo's body, which was completely opposite to the dark power in her body. Just like the two, they fight against each other in an instant. See only, Cloud Dance whole body presents half silver half black, two mutually exclusive. Make Cloud Dance instantly feel a strong tearing feeling, as if to tear her whole body apart. The Cloud Dances to death of clenched teeth pass. Just don't make a little noise. Beam like sweat is like rain, emitting crystalline. shining her pale and stubborn face, soaking her hair, purple clothes. The whole person is like being watered. That unbearable feeling, like two people constantly pulling in her body, one to the left, one to the right, you have to tear her in half. Girl, are you breaking through Wuzuan? White old hazy surprised voice suddenly sounded in her mind. Break through Wuzuan. Cloud danced lying on the ground. Pain without a trace of strength. Only feel the body of two wipe force constantly devour her. As if to pain coma in the past. But can't coma, want to stand up also can't stand up, can only consciously suppress the pain. However, Yunwu's eyes are staring at the distance. The man's white figure is constantly flying and standing up. There is anger in the eyes but worry and anxiety. This is the time. Why is every awakening and breakthrough always at a critical time? Is that how difficult it is for her to break through? Should she break through every 10 or 8 years? The cloud dances the Mao light to be unusually deep. Die the bloodthirsty Mao son of anger to move to Mietsong body. The bottom of the heart ruthlessly gnash teeth of secretly swear. I swear in the name of summoner, when I can fight back, I will kill you. Her man can only let her repair. What qualification does he have to hurt him? No one can. She has been living in captivity for more than 10 years, but she is still so rampant. She has been rampant for more than 20 years in modern times. As an old man, why is she more rampant? The cloud dances the Mao light is faint. More think is more angry. The chest place entangles like colic to rise. The corner of her mouth fierce a twitch. Damn it. Dragon evil constantly shuttle around the mountain. The figure is like a dragon, countless phantoms. In an instant, there will be 5 or 6 residual shadows. The épée will be smashed in the air and waved at will. When Mietsong didn't hit him, he picked up a moment's gap, and the sound of épée roared by, which made Mietsong fly away. With a shadow rolling away, such as a black meteor, directly hit the wall of the mountain. All of a sudden, there was a rumbling sound of gravel on the wall of the mountain. The dragon never stops pouring evil. The épée is dyed with purple fighting spirit. It's like the wind. Its speed is as fast as the light. It once again flies in the air and waves to Mietsong. Poof. Mietsong was hit by 2 blows at the same time. And he suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. Long Qingxia stops for a while, and puts the épée to the ground to speed up his healing ability. As long as he recovers before destroying Song, he will be able to destroy it. It's just that. The strength of Mietsong is stronger than they imagined. Bai Lao, is there any way to speed up the breakthrough? Yunwu tries to endure the pain of tearing and uses his mind. Girl, the speed of your breakthrough is very fast, but the dark power in your body repels the power of breaking through Wuzuan. That's the reason why Wuzuan can't break through for a long time. Bai Lao stopped for a moment but suddenly said, however, if your ability is slightly better, with your ability to devour the dark breath thoroughly first, maybe it will be okay. Devour the dark? Cloud dance congeals eyebrow, purple pupil Mao by ache erosion of pan with scarlet blood. But now I can't move strength. Girl, breakthrough is your own control. I really can't help you with this. I have to rely on you. Bai Lao sighed. He was helpless, remorseful and worried. Although he is a wizard in the holy things, but he is not really omnipotent. In the matter of breaking through strength, no one can get involved. The scarlet eyes of the cloud dance deeper. However, it is still tough to bear the pain of bone erosion, speed up the blood, and strive to release all the strength of the body, so that the force hit the body at random. Dead horse, live horse doctor. If you want to resist, if you want to get rid of the confinement, please resist with these forces. She also on this pair of body, as a space, enjoy tossing it. She does not believe that she has survived so many difficulties. Today will be destroyed by this small breakthrough. However, Cloud Dance does not know. At this time, I don't know if it's as simple as a breakthrough. The power in her body is a joke. However, it is precisely because I don't know and have no fear that I dare to fight so recklessly. Girl, don't do that. Bai Lao's hoarse and anxious voice of blocking rang out in do, but it was still a step late. He had intended to think about whether there was any way, but found that this girl actually followed the will of the dark forces. released all the forces in her body, and let the dark forces devour her at will. Isn't that death? How could her body bear it? It's not impossible to be dead by then. This way. Miet Song came to the moment slowly, and the dark eyes looked at the dragon's evil, and the bottom of the eyes was slightly surprised. It seems that I didn't expect that the strength of Long Qingxia was so strong, which obviously exceeded his own martial saint level. On the contrary, when he was strong, he was stronger. However, at this time, Miet Song suddenly glanced at Yunwu, and seemed to feel something wrong with Yunwu. Eyes gloomy am I, purple black corner of the mouth slightly a pull. Boy, I won't play with you. At the end of the speech, suddenly his figure swept, like a phantom came to Yunwu. Just at the time of fighting with Yunwu, she stabbed the mark on her chest. It was nothing else but the source of his power. So now he is just like a normal person. After a long time, he will be tired and unable to do what he wants. At this time, Long Qingxia entangled with him for such a long time, and he already felt that his body was not supporting. Over the years, I didn't expect to be so embarrassed by these two children. It's disgusting. Isn't it a shame that you can't protect your own women well? Suddenly, when Miet Song's figure came, the figure of Long Qingxia stopped in front of the cloud dance, and the purple fighting spirit suddenly hit. Miet Song was beaten back when he didn't have time to deal with it. His speed is so fast the dark and cold eyes of Miet Song suddenly rise sharp surge, just like the weird and terror when the storm is going to die out. Miet Song is completely angry. The whole mountain cave is filled with the smell of darkness. In an instant, it seems that even the breath of the air with a chilling anger, the ear of the hurricane tearing roaring. Miet Song's body turned into a dark fog, like black pride. The dark and strange fog kept rolling. Since I can't get out of this border, I'll let you bury me with me. Shoo. The speed that people can't react completely, part of the black fog suddenly turned into a black fog blade, and the speed attacked like a charm. Dragon Qing evil extremely cold eyes a squint. Instant reaction come over, figure a sweep, avoid a blow. But the next second. Brush. Long Qingxia's dead and bloodthirsty eyes were looking at a wisp of silver hair under the black veil on the ground. How fast? Almost, the sharp blade cut off his head. I didn't expect that. You are really beyond my expectation. The strength of a martial saint in his later period has evaded my attack in a row. Miet Song's angry voice came from the air with a strong sense of killing. Long Qingxia's eyes are full of blood. However, he subconsciously looks at Yunwu, and seems to be worried about her. When he saw the power in Cloud Dance's body, which seemed to gradually engulf the dark power, his eyes flashed by a rush, but at this time he did not step forward. Instead, he was staring at the death coldly. Miet Song looked at the silver hair on the ground, and the strange smile became more fond of Mang. Good, you have completely aroused my interest. My favorite thing is to watch the prey slowly be tortured to death. See, that gloomy voice falls down. Suddenly, 5 black blades attacked fiercely again. As soon as the dragon's eyes sank and his body moved, he quickly used the boundary of space in the dark. Then he raised the épée, and at the moment when the attack hit the border, he split the border open, which just divided the black blade into 2. All of a sudden, the épée fell, and the dust in the cave was flying. The sharp wind blade scratched the skin, and a burning sensation kept rising. Dust falls. After the sight was clear, a half-man wide and several meters deep gully appeared under the ground, which directly cracked to the periphery of the border. At this time, Miet Song's face suddenly changed. Subconsciously, he lowered his eyes and looked at the stabbing blood on his arm. It was struck by the power of Dragon's épée. What is the strength of the boy in front of us? In other words, what is the peak of his strength? Who the hell is he? After thinking about it, the corner of his mouth drew. With a sonorous cold breath, dozens of black blades hit again. No matter who he is, if you want to solve that girl, you must kill him first. Long Qingxia's eyes narrowed. Bear the pain of just being hurt on the body. Once the hand is brushed, suddenly lift up the attribute body in the body, prepare to really exert all one's strength, and kill the old man. But at this time, suddenly, 2 residual shadows appeared in an instant. When the dragon poured out his evil hand, he attacked the sky in an instant. One of them was white and wearing white gauze. A natural and unrestrained. It's Nanganji and Shengguan. Dragon Qing evil mouth slightly a yang, secretly put away just move. These two guys, can you come more slowly? Murmur low almost inaudible. Under the words, a touch of pain crossed the dragon's deep eyes. He looked down at his chest and saw the bloody hole. The evil and bloodthirsty smile at the corner of his mouth didn't decrease. At the same time, behind them, there are two other figures. It's Zhou Feiyu and Lu Bai, who have just been comatose by the dragon's evil spirit. They don't know when they wake up. They see that at this time, the four of them make a hand at the same time, and the light of the four spiritual powers suddenly lights up the whole cave. It is charming and dense, with a luster that people can't look directly at. There are two boys. Ha ha ha, since you can all come in, who can stop me when I go out? Destroy it. Miet Song laughs wildly. Miet Song in the light is more and more dark and evil. Suddenly, Miet Song was the embodiment of the body. The black fog all around turned into a black blade. With the long roaring sound, it came sharply from all sides. As soon as they were shocked, their faces turned white. How tough! The strength of the old man is better than that of the four of them, but in an instant, a touch of purple light passed in front of people's eyes, but in the blink of an eye, it disappeared again. All of a sudden, people's heads, a touch of purple light shining. Dazzled purple exudes a dark atmosphere, and constantly diffuses, blocking the galloping black blade in the air. In the middle of the dark purple spiritual power, a woman with a touch of purple figure is floating. The woman's hair was flowing, her facial features were strange, her purple pupil was bloodthirsty and cold. Standing in the purple, she looked at the sky like death. It's her. Cloud dance. When the four Nangong Yi, who were against Miet Song, saw the cloud dance, they could not help trembling. However, when Long Qingxia saw the clouds dancing, his eyes sank. She who's in control of the bite in her body. But how could it be? Magic bite can't be controlled so simply, otherwise, the original magic heaven would not be like this. Unless the evil bite is only dormant for a short time. Thinking of this, the worries of Dragon's eyes flashed by. He wanted to go forward, but when he felt the breath of cloud dance, Dragon's eyes were in a daze. Wuzuan? She broke through Wuzuan? Long Qingxia looks at the cloud dance's eyes and is slightly surprised. In the case of being eroded by the devil, can she break through into Wuzuan's strength? What's going on? Does this little thing really control the magic bite? But Nanganji under the white gauze, the warm eyes looking at the cloud dance, a little squint, also passed a trace of surprise. In such a short time, she broke through Wuzuan again. No one can stop her. Zhou Feiyu looked at the cloud dance, and a smile appeared in the corner of his mouth. Her strength has improved again. But Lu Bai's eyes were strange and full of excitement. Wuzuan. Miet Song is slightly surprised, looking at the black blade which is easily blocked by Yunwu, and the eyes of vicissitudes of life look at her incredulously. How can it be? Just now, she was just the peak of Wuxing. Did she break through in such a short time? How can it be so simple for Wuxing to break through into Wuzuan? But this girl, however, I'm afraid it's unheard of in mainland China? Cloud dance stands in mid-air, eyes very cold looking at the Miet Song. The voice was cold and word by word. I swear in the name of the summoner that if I can recover my strength, I will kill you. So I'll take your life. The last sentence, with jealousy, arrogance and bloodthirsty, with a chilling chill, the purple light of cloud dance fist emerged, and instantly gathered all the scattered purple light on the fist. And at that moment, the black sharp blade suddenly swished back towards the extinction, followed by the cloud dancing fist with purple light. The black blade was instantly smashed by Miet Song's wave. Although this girl film broke through Wuzuan, let him surprised, but with his strength, how can you be afraid of a Wuzuan girl? However, when Mi King turned around and wanted to deal with Yunwu's fist, he found that it was too late. The purple light was right in front of him. Bang! With a devastating tremor, the whole forest is full of birds and animals. The howl, the scream of fear, could be heard clearly in the mountain. Broken walls in the mountain, gravel began to slide, stone sand all over the sky. Still hovering spirit power is still whistling. Even if the border seems to be unable to support this power, On the stone floor in the cave, there is a hollow shape of human body, and the people in the hollow are Mikang. At this time, Mietsong's body was still suffused with purple and dark breath. It seemed that the power just attacked by Cloud Dance had not disappeared, and was still eroding in his body. You have magic poof. Mietsong's canthus are full of unbelievable clouds. He never thought that there was the power of magic bite in her body. Magic bite. That's magic bite. Mietsong seemed to be stimulated by something. He was excited and a mouthful of old blood gushed out. His eyes were full of blood. It looked like he was choked to death. It seemed that he was going to swell his eyes. No one can feel the power except Dragon, Cloud Dance and Extermination. It's just that the breath of Cloud Dance becomes a little dark after breaking through the martial arts. And if Long Qingxia didn't know that there was evil in her body, she couldn't find it at all. It is because of the power of evil bite that we can know that it is evil bite. In other words, if Yunwu doesn't want to tell anyone that she has the power of magic bite in her body, then the only one who wants to know that she has the power of magic bite in her body is the dead. How strange. Lu Bai looked at the dying death, and a touch of interesting meditation passed through his dark eyes. A blow? It seems that this woman is more and more interesting to kill the former second leader of the Beast Gate with only one blow. It's true that Mietsong was once the second leader of the Beast Gate. How beautiful it was. It's just that after that, there was no news. It turned out that he was imprisoned here. Now he died in the hands of a teenage girl. It's really sad. Cloud Dance approached the depression and looked at the sky below. Gently stir up the corner of the mouth. Cold bloodthirsty smile continues to deepen. You say I leave you a whole body to waste land? Or let my Hongling eat you out to nourish the land? Mietsong's face suddenly changed when he heard that it was as cold as frost. Can't help but see not far away, and was released Hongling, corner of the mouth with a wry smile. Cannibal flowers are already in. Why ask me? I'm a murderer. I don't like procrastination. However, I'm interested in you. Let you try what you say and torture slowly. Cloud Dance looks back at Hongling and recalls it to contract space. Then looking back at the time of death, the big knife suddenly appeared. Whoosh. Black flame dagger, with a strong power, waved to Mietsong in an instant. Ah. A roar against the sky that could shake the whole forest, like a ghost crying, tearing apart and hoarse in pain. I saw that Mietsong's hands and feet were cut off, and the blood slipped into the depression, more and more. The smell of blood permeated the whole cave, and the gloom after the killing was numbing. Mietsong fell in the pool of blood, the vicissitudes of the eyes streaming blood, seems to want to say something, only to find that there is no strength to say. He stares at his eyes. The bloody eyes reflect the figure of a matchless and beautiful woman in purple. The radiance of the woman's mouth is like the most terrible smile he has ever seen in his life. Enjoy the feeling of death. I don't know if you lost blood in the end, or choked to death by your own blood. If only you knew the result yourself. He couldn't hear a word of her. He is not dead yet, but life is not like death. Shangguan looks at the big sword dripping blood in Yunwu's hand, and some strange and cruel smile in that pair of purple pupil eyes. He is rarely surprised and has no response. It was the first time that he saw such bloody, bloodthirsty and cold Cloud Dance. Just like a king who was arrogant and bloodthirsty, Zhou Feiyu was not surprised. On the contrary, in his sharp eyes, he suddenly raised an unpredictable smile. Because what he saw at the beginning was her bloodthirsty side. Such a woman, so that he cannot control the heart. While Dragon Qingxia looks at the action of Cloud Dance. In his deep eyes, there is a cold and murderous Sunhan like Cloud Dance. However, the pale corner of his mouth carries a doting smile. This little thing really suits his taste. However, there are more and more rotten peach blossoms around, alas. Yunwu puts away the sword, no longer looks at Mikang, turns around and looks back to the dragon. Looking at her pale evil face, slightly frown. Serious? She clearly saw that he was beaten by him, once, twice, 3 times, but still continued to get up and pester the Mietsong. Just to protect her and buy her time. Although his body can heal, he will still get hurt and live worse than death. Think of just now. Cloud Dance tiny frown. Mao Guang flits a silk-cold idea. Is it too cheap to cut off Mietsong's hands and feet? When the dragon heard the evil words, he bent his mouth and raised a smile arc of evil spirit. Suddenly he said, "With your kiss, everything will become less serious. Your man is not so weak." The voice was not big or small, and it was clearly heard by several people present. Cloud dance smell speech facial expression brush of a sink. Don't fight for spirit of cheek float to put on crimson. This man is really cheap all the time. Cloud dance can't help but white swept him one eye, low to scolde, have nothing oneself roll. After that, Yunwu then stood up and walked to Panlong's cave. Enter here, she can forget what her final goal is. Outside the entrance of the cave is a stone gate with a dragon. There is a groove as big as a finger on the stone gate. Looking at the shape of the groove, it seems that you need some key. Well, it seems that I need some key. Nangongyi said in a low voice. Now what? We don't have a key. Shengguan glanced at Yunwu and shrugged. It's just that the attitude that used to be joking and thumping is more serious now. It's obviously shocked by Yunwu's cold and murderous appearance just now. Cloud Dance glanced at him, the corner of his mouth suddenly outlined. Then he turned his head, and saw that he had stood up from the ground, and patted the dragon on his clothes. It seems that his wound has almost healed. Faster than her water element healing. Cloud Dance saw an eye dragon to poor evil asked. Want to open stone door very difficult? Dragon Ching evil slowly step forward. Evil spirit of the mouth pull a touch of radiant. Eye suddenly a flash. Very simple, kick a corner on the line. Bang. I saw that as soon as his words fell. A firm foot firmly kicked to the stone gate. With an earthquake-like roar, the dust blurred my vision. Huh. The stone gate has been opened. No, it should be said that he was kicked away by Cloud Dance with violence. Shengguan's mouth twitches. It's really not difficult, but it's also a little too bad elegant, right? Shengguan wanted to say that it was not gentle, but he thought that one was Yunwu gentle. I want to say it's too violent, but I think when is she not violent? After thinking about it, I can only describe it in terms of elegance, which is a little more appropriate. Open the stone gate. Long Qingxia, Shengguan, Yunwu and Zhou Feiyu walk into the cave together. However, the first feeling is cold piercing cold air, so that all sweat pores are congealed bundle up. Slightly a breath seems to be able to form a layer of frost. But Lu Bai has been standing outside the door, watching them go in. Looking back at Mietsong, the bloodthirsty light in his eyes. Suddenly, a white flame quietly attacked the sky. Because of the chill inside the cave, several people inside the cave were not aware of the fluctuation of the extremely cold white flame outside the cave dying of extinction. Exhausted the last strength to see to Lu Bai. Vicissitudes of life blood red eyes like to see what the ghost of things in general, stare boss, you. Without saying the last word, he opened his eyes and closed his eyes. Lu Bai sees this. The corner of the mouth raises a touch of sun in to like to smile. Dead people don't need to know too much. Then, Lu Bai stepped into the cave and quickly followed. After entering the cave, Yunwu narrowed her eyes and inquired into the cave, only to find that the cave was empty enough. Until, suddenly, the corner of the eye swept to the open corner, not far away from a cold bed. There was a wooden box on the ice bed. It was green and looked like moss. It looked shabby for some years. Cloud Dance micro-frown. Mao Guang looking at the wooden box as if thinking, is this box a little too eye-catching to be placed on this ice-cold bed for thousands of years? However, looking at the bottle, it seems too shabby. However, what can appear in this cave is definitely not an ordinary thing. Yunwu went and opened the wooden box. There were 6 little crystal balls in the wooden box, only the size of fingernail. The crystal ball emits a cold light like ice, illuminating the dark wooden box subspace. At this time, a golden light flashed in my mind, and a message came from the dragon scroll. Bingdan, the most outstanding part of the Millennium Ice, is extremely rare. It contains great mental power. After taking it, it can increase its ability, and the specific consequences are unknown. Cloud Dance white eyes. The last sentence is bright. The specific consequences are unknown? So it might have an after effect? However, the Cloud Dance star eyes, but suddenly swept a touch of cunning point of light, and then, smilingly looked at the 5 people behind. It's noodles here. It's a good thing. Bingdan. It can increase your own ability after eating. It's extremely rare for you to have a taste of it. Cloud dance kind, will I stand to each hand? The corner of the eye mouth smile did not come down. Shengguan looked at Yunwu with an unkind smile. Taking Bingdan was like taking poison. His face was extremely ugly. This thing won't kill us, will it? Cloud dance's face suddenly a positive color, stares at the upper official way. Don't eat to pull down, take back. As soon as I reached out, I wanted to get the ice stand back. The corner of Shengguan's mouth twitched violently. He looked at the cloud dance for a long time. It seemed that he was reluctant to part with it. And he swallowed Bingdan as if he had accepted his life. Nangongyi looks at Bingdan, and his eyes twinkle with a smile, but he swallows it without saying anything. Lu Bai's eyes moved and swallowed it. And Zhou Feiyu, as early as in the cloud dance, I stand to him after swallowing. And the dragon Qingxia, but has been smiling at the clouds, with a smile in his mouth. Looking at the cloud dance, that calculation of the eyes. The bottom of the eye swept a helpless funny. This little thing really made him like it more and more. After Yunwu saw 4 people swallow Bingdan, just walked to the dragon to pour evil in front of, confiscate the ice dan in his hand, despise of glance him one eye. You don't eat also useless. Anyway, his breakthrough in strength is too special. Pills are useless for him, so don't waste them. However, when they heard the words, their faces suddenly changed. It's no use eating? Threaten them to eat, but don't let him eat. Isn't this really a good thing? Is this disguised shortness protection too obvious? Suddenly, Shengguan covered his chest and let out a cry of pain, half kneeling on the ground in an instant. At this time, Lu Bai's face suddenly became worse. The beanie sweat fell from his forehead, as if he could faint in the next second. Nangongyi has been standing, through the white dosha, vaguely seems to be able to see his convulsive pale face. Zhou Feiyu also followed, as if in preparation for what suffering. It's just been eaten. Is it really working so fast? Cloud Dance looked at them twitching pain. The appearance of blue veins suddenly micro-frown. Is it really that painful? However, under the detection of mental power, they found that their bodies seemed to be running fast at this time. And it seemed that they were really increasing the rhythm of Yuanli. After a long time, they gradually calmed down the pain of stirring, and their pale and bloodless faces gradually recovered. Xiaowu, you really want our lives? Shengguan calmed the pain in his chest and said with a face of complaint. Cloud Dance slightly droops the eye, the corner of the mouth slightly raises, smile not language of ignore them. Turn around and get ready to look for the map first. She and Long Qingxia are suffering a lot today. What are they yelling about the beneficial pain? However, looking at their current situation, it seems that there will be some painful torture after eating Bingdan. I think I'd better put Bingdan into the space first. When Long Qingxia is in debt, he will take it and torture him. Xiaowu, it seems to really work. Shengguan suddenly felt the full force in Dantian, and his eyes brightened. Well, sensory ability has risen one step. Nangongyi nodded gently. Several other people were there, you and I, but Yunwu didn't listen to a word. See, she at this time of that thief Jing's vision. All fall on the side of that piece of Call Temple map. That is a bit like a modern Baijiu box. It is very old and extremely ordinary. The Cloud Dance is taken by hand. A map of the temple is placed in a brocade box. It looks like a package of something. It's lying there at will. If you don't know the goods, you will be regarded as a rag at the bottom. Yunwu almost ignored it. However, it's really hard to find a way out. The Cloud dances in the Mao light to shine. The action is extremely quick. Conveniently secretly put that map into the bosom. What are you doing here? The sound of Dragon's evil spirit suddenly rang in her ear. It happened that she reached into her arms and didn't pull it out. Cloud Dance figure suddenly a shake. Brushback vigilant looked to the side, like a cheetah want to protect themselves in general. When he saw the smiling face of the evil spirit of Dragon Qingxia, the corner of his mouth pulled out and slightly glared at him. Stand behind me in silence. Be careful I beat you. Longqing evil smell speech. The corner of the mouth evil spirit a yang, deep magnetic way. Come on, I like it. You. The cloud dances and breathes. But for this man, it's hard to beat or scold. She seems to be depressed every time. The other four looked at Yunwu's gnashing teeth and depressed appearance, and they were all slightly stunned. Leng Yan is like her, but she only has such an expression on the Dragon 3. At last, Yunwu didn't bother to quarrel with that dragon. He turned his head and looked at several people. How do you feel? Yunwu wants to know the function of Bingdan. Well, we said so much just now, didn't you hear a word? Hear Cloud dance that ask away. The upper official immediately a facial expression of bitterness haha, complained to stare at Cloud dance. The Cloud dances, the corner of the mouth draws. Just now, did they say anything? All right. She really didn't hear that. So can't help grinning and looking at Nangong Yi, he asked again. How does that feel? Yuanli has increased a lot, and they are the same when the class goes up one level. Nangong Yi's quiet and gentle way. Cloud dance slightly pick eyebrows, eyes flash. A step up? Does it mean that the samurai jumps into the martial saints level? Is this too bad? Can you go up one more level at any level? If so, can't she reach Wuzong directly? Well, I don't know. Nangong Yi's mouth is not clear. However, Cloud Dance's bright eyes make Long Qingxia have no choice but to smile. And there is a helpless pet in his eyes. Little thing, what good do you want to do? Just reached Wuzhuan. Want to rise to Wuzong with a ice pill? Don't say no, even if you can't take it to improve. The consequences are unimaginable. She really won this strength without any foundation accumulation. Only rely on pills to improve can be good for the body? This little thing's head Cloud Dance hears dragon to pour evil words. Eyes a dark, white he one eye. In fact, this man is probably the person who knows her best, and can understand what she thinks in her heart with just a glance. However, she is eager to improve her strength, but her heart is like a mirror. She knows very well that in addition to opportunities, strength improvement also requires cultivation and accumulation, which cannot be achieved by opportunism. And she also, however, just think about it. Really just think about it. Of course, there are still some. Nangongyi looks at Yunwu's expression and can't help laughing. Although it's a very shallow smile, it's clearly heard in this quiet space. Cloud Dance suspiciously looks at him one eye. South Palace, this is how. Although he gives people the feeling is very gentle, but in fact he has not seen too many changes in expression. All of a sudden, did you laugh? What are you laughing at? He was still quiet and white. After fighting for so long, he didn't have the smell of blood. He was still in a state of incorruption with the world. Godlike people should be like this. Nangong Yue shakes his head and looks at Yunwu. Nothing. He said nothing, so Yunwu naturally didn't ask any more questions, lest a man fall into the vinegar jar again. That way I want things. Cloud Dance also didn't want to stay feeling. So with 5 followers out of the forest, strange is that they return according to the original road. Dense fog and border no longer exists. Is it because of death that you're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel? We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.